I'm going to ask if we stand for invocation and pledge of allegiance. May we bow in an attitude of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we say thank you for the night of rest and for the opportunity to be present this morning. Lord, we thank you for this great nation, this birthday celebration of 250 years. We thank you for our forefathers and the individuals that pledged everything. They pledged their life, their liberty, their possessions, everything to ensure that we have a nation as great as we live and experience. Thank you for the celebrations of this inaugural year. Lord, guide us and direct us through the many celebrations and activities. We pray for individual safety, particularly those that may be traveling and enjoying this season of celebration. Guide us, direct us, and use us today that we honor and please you in all that we do and say. May we do so in your Son's precious name. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. And with that, we'll call our meeting to order. We do have first on the agenda this morning 3 sets of minutes. I'd like to ask that we do each one motion and approval for each one individually. So the first one would be the minutes of May the 12th, 2026.
Motion to approve May 12th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next one would be the minutes of May 21st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Last but not least, amended minutes of August 26, 2025. Is that correct? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second for amended minutes. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Yes. Should abstain from
Oh,
that one as he
yes.
wasn't here for it.
Okay, yes, good point. Okay, thanks. So four and 1 abstention. Moving on, we'll go right on into commissioners' reports and comments. And Commissioner Wagner, would you like to go first?
Sure. Morning. First of all, I want to hope and wish everybody has a very happy and fun-filled 4th of July this year. And we have a lot going on with the county. Obviously, you've seen we're down at the Ag Center on July 4th with a big, long schedule. In advance, I thank staff. It's going to be hot. They're getting all that ready to go. And I want to thank them also for great patriotism of decorating our chambers with who, I don't know who did that, Michelle Preby maybe, so I'm sure. Yeah, so thank you.
I heard it was a team effort.
Yeah, it was a team effort. Yeah, always a team effort. And with the weather coming, just urge you to check on people who are extremely vulnerable to the heat wave we're supposed to get here this week. And I guess I'd be remiss not to congratulate Randy Leatherman, John Barr, and Jeff Klein for making it through the primary. Congratulations on that. Neil and I didn't make it, but I guess we'll see what social media says about that. We didn't run, by the way. That was a joke. So anyway, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. The other Randy.
Morning. Thanks, John. Thanks very much. So it's been 3 weeks since we met, and so much has happened. I have this long list that I'm not going to make you listen, but just some topics that I've got to hit. On June 12th, Chick-fil-A celebrated 25 years. Not only do we encourage businesses to locate here, but we encourage them to remain. And they have been such fabulous stewards for our community. Their support, Randy Scott and his family and their support of our community continuously on so many fronts needs to be recognized. And so call them out and thank them for being here. Go to the south end of the county. Potomac Valley Fire Company just celebrated 60 years of serving the community. And that fire station is not only a fire station, but it's also a community center. And they do such a wonderful job. Salute to them. I do have to make this mention. On June 15th, this one slipped by everybody, I'm sure. June 15th was Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and it's a significant issue. Not only do we most vulnerable of our community, certainly our elders, we like to care for them. And in order to do that, it's important that each of us pay attention to those that are around us. And there is an elder abuse hotline. I'm going to say it now. It's 1-800-917-7383. And that is a state number to report any suspicion of elder abuse. So I call attention to you for that item. And also, now I've got to call out a gentleman who lives with us in this county, 103 years old. Jack Myers celebrated his birthday, served in the Second World War under Patton. He was at the Battle of the Bulge. He was a tank gunner. The guy is phenomenal, still singing our national anthem when requested and singing it well. So to Jack Myers, congratulations on your 103rd birthday. Two more items, and I promise I'll end. On Saturday, June 27th, this is another one of those sleepers that goes unnoticed in our communities. The Antietam Radio Association, in cooperation with our Department of Emergency Services, was operating at the Leitersburg-Ruritan facility, and they provide a service that will provide us with communications when all else fails. And it's constantly overlooked, and I believe that it is underrated. But they perform a service to us that we will need. I hope that we never need, but in the event that we do, that it is available. And we appreciate their service to our community. It's very quiet, but we appreciate what they do for us. And finally, to Annie Palmer. Annie Palmer worked for Washington County Board of Education for more than 40 years. Okay, Annie, I said just more than 40 years. I didn't identify the date exactly, or the years exactly. But wonderful teacher, educator for Washington County, and we had a celebration for her on Sunday at Schaefer Park in Boonesboro. And so to Annie, congratulations and happy retirement from the Washington County Board of Education. That's all I've got, John.
Thank you. Commissioner Parrott?
Good morning. Well, this was an eventful 3 weeks. I want to thank all the events that happened. Certainly Chick-fil-A, the 25 years, we moved here. My kids grew up in that Chick-fil-A, playing in the play gym they had. And what they've done for our community, Randy and Renee Scott, is just incredible. I want to thank them for their effort. I also want to say thank you to the 7-Eleven. They had a tragedy several years ago that burned down on the Dual Highway, but they've rebuilt. It's going again, so anybody who thinks about it, I suggest you stop out to the 7-Eleven, get gas there, and just show your support for this business that's reopened and reinvested in our community. I do want to say, 1776 was the Declaration of Independence. In 1976, I was 6 years old, and my parents made that a big deal. They had cups that said 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. We went down to D.C. for the fireworks, and what I remember about that trip was that we took a bus to D.C., and then coming home, the bus didn't show up. So my parents and my brother and I, we sat there all night long until the school buses picked us up the next morning. Anyway, that was 1976. This is 2026, and I want to encourage anybody, any parents, try and make this special for your kids. They can remember this just like me for the rest of their lives. So it's a big deal. I'm really thankful that we're putting on a big show at the Ag Center. Anybody could join us, please do, or if you want to go to D.C., go there. But make this a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Klein?
Good morning, everyone. I, too, attended Jack's birthday, and we had the pleasure of honor presenting a certificate and a swag bag from all the commissioners. So 60, 80, 100 people there from the Williamsport Legion in attendance. And I did attend Potomac Valley's 60th. I believe I was there also for the 55th. They've done a great job, and they've earned the title the Protectors, the Defenders of the Valley. So thank you for that organization. I do want to thank the election board and all the volunteers and many judges throughout Washington County who helped make that process run smooth. A special thanks to all the candidates who ran, and congratulations to the ones who are moving forward. I also attended an event this week called Lifesavers. It is an example of how our first responders are on duty and how it takes multiple agencies to save a life. And there were 6 incidents where staff from many different departments, from city and county, EMS, fire, volunteers, that played a role in saving a life of someone. And one of the most important things I learned the other day was the importance of a bystander, having that CPR training to keep someone alive until our first responders can get there on a timely delivery of service. So thank you to all involved in having that program. Thanks to all our first responders. I'd also like to bring to light, it brought to my attention, June 28th of 2012, Bridget Heller passed away. Bridget Heller was a Department of Emergency Services standout star trainer, and there's many EMS paramedics people here today that she touched their lives. So I'd like to recognize her achievement in our minutes for the history of Bridget Heller. And one of the biggest tributes to her, she has a son and a daughter that has followed in her footsteps. And that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein. Well said. I too attended Jack Myers' birthday, and two significant things. The week before his birthday, I saw him on television, on national television, walking down the promenade at Normandy. And just 1 week before his 103rd birthday. So he was over in Normandy, reliving his life there, his history, walking on his own. Nobody was assisting him. And with that said, I couldn't help but notice he drove to and from his 103rd birthday on his own. And Jack is very proud of that. We're very proud of him. I also attended the 60th anniversary down at Sharpsburg, Dargan, Potomac Valley Fire Company. I say that with three different names because I was confused when I read the proclamation, and a couple of the firefighters down there at Dargan said, well, you know, we do have a Sharpsburg address. So it was kind of comical. So Dargan, Potomac Valley, and Sharpsburg, congratulations to all those folks down there. I know how hard they work. They struggle that far out, and they work a lot of fundraisers and to keep that fire company going, and they do a fantastic job. Also, for me, the past 2 weeks, I spent several days with Maryland Association of Counties, as I normally do, and we had our spring retreat. It was well attended, very informative, and have a lot to bring back to Washington County and to my fellow commissioners in anticipation of going into the summer season, where we look for 4 major initiatives that are submitted to both the Senate and the House on behalf of the state going into next year's general session. So MACO is busy over the summer. We have numerous committee meetings, a lot of serious activity. So I do serve on that and look forward to it. Anything else, gentlemen, we've missed this morning? So hearing none, we'll move right into staff comments, and Michelle Gordon, our County Administrator.
Thank you. I have one schedule change, item number 30, which is the fiscal year 27 Rural Health Transformation Program grant application. Needs to be removed. It may be brought back at a later date. I did attend a BizNow Economic Development Seminar in Frederick over the last 2 weeks. I attended 2 Maryland Theater Board meetings. I also attended the Flag Day ceremony at our Public Safety Training Center, and I'd like to thank our staff and our Public Relations Department and our Division of Emergency Services for coordinating this event, and all of the cadets who attended and performed in the ceremonies. I'd like to remind all of our viewers here today that on July the 4th, we are having our 250th anniversary of the United States signing of the Declaration of Independence event at the Washington County Ag Center. Events start at 12 o'clock. We will have a drone show and fireworks show that evening, shortly after dark. We will have numerous bands throughout the day. We will have a kids zone. Lots of food vendors, and we are running complimentary transit services from downtown Hagerstown here at the Bus Transit Center to the Ag Center, I believe once an hour, to make sure that any resident who lives in the Hagerstown area can make it to the event as well. I'd like to remind all of our viewers that we are expecting some extreme weather and heat this week. We did make a post on our social media site, and we have information available related to heat safety, severe weather preparedness, as well as information related to cooling and hydration resources.
please refer to our webpage for that information if you find yourself in a situation where you need some help. Last thing that I have is an OMA finding that I'd like to read, 20-207 from 2026, dated June 22nd, 2026. In an October 27, 2025 letter to a state lawmaker, the Washington County Board of County Commissioners requested a public local law change the county treasurer from being elected to being appointed. The complainants allege that the county board violated the Open Meetings Act by meeting in secret to take the vote and by failing to properly document the closed session vote. The county board reached consensus on this matter during an open session on October the 21st, 2025, and that vote was a 5-0 vote, which is referred to in the letter. Based on this record, we find no violation of the act. And that's everything that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda under tab 1 is the proclamation for the 85th anniversary of the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County. And I think we have a number of folks here that want to come forward this morning.
We have Markila Gant, I believe, who is here to assist us with that.
Good morning.
This is my crew today from the Boys and Girls Club. We are starting camp. We started last week, so I've got my team campers that are here with me. And I just have a few things. So thank you to the commissioners for the recognition. It truly means a lot to all of us. For 85 years, the Boys and Girls Club has been opening doors for young people, providing not just a place to go, but a place to belong and become their best selves. This achievement belongs to our entire community, our dedicated staff, volunteers, supporters, and the amazing youth who inspire us every day. We're honored to celebrate this moment and excited to keep building great times together for the next 85 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Hold up.
Jeff, anybody want to take it?
No, go ahead, John, you do it. Yeah, and then we'll all jump in for the picture.
On behalf of my fellow commissioners, we'd like to present this proclamation, 85th anniversary Boys and Girls Club of Washington County, June 2026. Whereas the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County was founded in 1941 as a place for young men to play sports and to keep them off the streets. And whereas the club has grown into a comprehensive youth development program that empowers boys and girls to be successful citizens and to make a difference in their community. And whereas over the last 85 years, the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County has tripled the number of youth served and has grown from a single location to 4 locations, as well as 2 school partnerships in Washington County. And whereas true to its origins, the club's commitment to enriching the lives of local youth remains as strong as it did when it first opened over 85 years ago. Now therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, do hereby celebrate and recognize the 85th anniversary of the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County and ask all of our citizens to join in observing this significant milestone awarded this 30th day of June 2026, signed by all the county commissioners. Again, congratulations.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Oh, you need a picture?
Yep, we're gonna scoot over this way. Good job.
We can get it.
Yeah, we'll
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Can I just get one real quick, sorry?
Did she would like to get one?
If I can just get one for the club, sorry. No, you're fine, just one more, sorry guys.
July.
Okay. Thank you.
August 7th. Yeah, it was 7 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda under tab 2 is the Creek Cleanup Project Certificate of Recognition. Alex? Good morning, Alex.
Morning, Commissioners. Alex Reed, Deputy Director of Environmental Programs with the Division of Environmental Management. I'm here to ask that the Commissioners bestow a certificate of recognition on the Creek Cleanup Project and about 120 seconds worth of backstory with these people. So over here behind my shoulder is Eric Grayson. He started this group in 2017 because he was hanging out at the creek, was noticing the trash, and figured that somebody should do something about that. And from that, it grew into a 94-mile journey, picking up tens of tons of material out of the local creeks. And as they got to the Maryland border, I was contacted by a county resident who said, hey, so what can the county do to help out with this? You know, they incur a lot of cost disposing of that type of material. In fact, that is an entry barrier to a lot of local residents who'd like to do cleanups at the parks, in and around their community. It's kind of like, you know, how are they going to pay to get rid of it? Not everybody has $100 for that type of thing. So with the division director's approval, we said, yeah, we'll go ahead and take care of that for you. So we worked with them, and the very first time, I've worked with a lot of groups. I've done a lot of cleanups. And the very first time watching them come down about 4 hours late, coming down through the creek, I'm thinking, where are they at? And I'm waiting for them to be floating on the boats, and the boats are full. No one is floating. They are dragging these things down through the creek. And when I say it was week after week after week, it was every Saturday. And the stormwater team, we were out there to facilitate that. And sometimes it was like, you know, we really need to get a better plan for this because we're making 2-3 trips to the landfill. And I mean, I'm talking tons of material. Like, I've never seen or heard anything like that. I've worked in this industry since 2010, and I've never even heard of a group that does this type of work. And so, with that being said, this is the type of thing that somebody who works in public service, getting to work with community members who look around and say, I'm not going to wait for someone else to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to put the word out through social media. Hey, if you want to come get some, show up this Saturday. And they're able to work with the students. They're putting out, they're making SSL hours. They've hosted over 20 community events. And so I really wanted the board and the county itself to be able to give them a tip of the hat, the thanks that thanks for all the work that they've done. And I think with that being said, were there any questions, any comments? Because I'm sure you all have seen them on Facebook.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that in the past, and it's an amazing story I don't think anybody fathoms how much debris is actually collected.
So the funny thing is that's one of the comments that they get a lot is, you know, it's like this, like, where's this happening? It's like, no, this is over 50, 60, 70 years. Some of the tires they pull out were probably on the first cars to roll off the assembly line. They've just been sitting there for that long. And as the stream systems, they cover, you know, like the mud will cover up the tires and the next flood will open up, they'll uncover them. And I mean, I watched them go out in wintertime with like come-alongs and winches to get a boat that had been there for decades. Everybody passed by it. It's just there in the Conococheague Creek. And in the wintertime, they're like, hey, they passed it, like, we can't get that today, but we'll be back. 4 months later, they're back. They got straps to trees. It's been quite a thing to see. So, you know, they've been like, I guess, it kind of sounds corny, but they've been an inspiration to a lot of other people in the county. A lot of people have reached out to them, say, hey, how do I get involved with this? I'd like to do something, you know, of my own. And then my phone starts ringing. Hey, like, you know, if we leave these bags at this park, would you mind come get them? No problem. You know, if the community's going to step up and do something, we'll come get the bags. There is community good in that, and there's not a single person in Washington County who would think that that is not a good use of taxpayer funds. When a community member steps up and does something, if that's not what the local government is for, is to help assist deal with that, I don't know what it's for then. So it's been a rewarding part of my former job as a watershed specialist. You know, now that I'm in this new position, I definitely wanted to make sure that they got the recognition they deserved, and that frankly they've earned. And yeah, for one, I do appreciate your all's guidance and allowing us to work with the community in this way. And with that being said, you know, I think it's great.
Comments? Well, we do have a certificate of recognition, and if everyone wants to come up to the flags, we'll make this presentation and send it to you. Alex, you might as well come on up here. You're part of this. On behalf of my fellow commissioners, we have a certificate of recognition. This is being presented to the Creek Cleanup Project. The Board of County Commissioners of Washington County would like to recognize the Creek Cleanup Project for your unrelenting and diligent work put forth in protecting and restoring the Conicajig and Antietam Creeks by removing over 51,520 pounds of litter and materials from these historic waterways. Your efforts have been drastically improved by the health of these local waterways, created safer conditions for county residents to utilize these natural resources, and set the standard for volunteer lead cleanup efforts. Your work is a testament to the power of collaboration and the importance of preserving our natural resources for generations to come. Awarded this 30th day of June, 2026, signed by the County Commissioners. I'm sorry, right up in the middle.
Thank you for the county support, we appreciate it.
Suzanne. Yeah, Suzanne's no different. That's great. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Love that tie. It couldn't be seen. Thank you for the, and that tie.
I'll get them pictures.
Okay, next item under tab 3, post-legislative review session, and it's my honor to introduce one of my favorite favorite people in Annapolis, the hardest working lobbyist that I have ever known, Bruce Bariano, a lobbyist for Washington County. Bruce, it's always so good to see you.
Mr. President, you said it exactly as I gave it to you. I appreciate that very much. Very, very kind. Seriously, it's a tremendous honor, and I really mean it. I wanted to start out that way. I've been representing the county for a number of years. I've enjoyed it immensely. I see you have a member of your council that I used to lobby in Annapolis, former Delegate Parrott. Nice to see you again, as always. And it's a pleasure to be here. I know your time is short. I'll make my presentation, and please feel free to ask me any questions that you want. It was a very difficult session. It was an election year session. A lot of kicking the can down the road at the state level financially, quite frankly. I did meet in person each time there was a Washington County delegation meeting with the senators and the delegates to go over things, so I attended that each time. I know you all got at the end of the session a document from me listing all the bills I was tracking, and I probably tracked more than what's necessary, but I'd rather over-track than under-track, so that you know about that. I'd like to go over a couple of items very briefly. Senate Bill 36 and House Bill 239, very significantly administration bills that were put in by the Secretary of Housing and Community Development on behalf of the governor. They had hearings and just stayed there. They were very aggressive intrusions in city and county local zoning and land use authority. And they had their hearings and just no discussion, no movement, both in the House and Senate side. They just left that alone. And on that point, I know I've said this previously to you, but continually, I regretfully see a continual activity of legislation being introduced by the legislature to really get into traditional, at least in my opinion, traditional city and county governmental functions. I just think that MML and MACO really need to be very aware and very aggressive on it. It's just a very bad trend. It really is, and I don't see it stopping. I really don't. One of the items, Delegate Schindler had a bill in, House Bill 831, requiring local government collective bargaining for employees, and that bill had a hearing and did not go anywhere. I'm just bringing up a couple of items. House Bill 525, which was signed by the governor, does require the county, every county board of education to establish a student electronic communication device policy and gives a deadline. That's for the boards of education, but I, again, wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Another important bill that was passed and signed by the governor, Senate Bill 579, for those counties that have volunteer fire departments, and I believe Washington County does, to require the counties to have at no cost preventative cancer screening, testing, and things of that nature. And I wanted to bring that bill to your attention. A lot of these are on the list. If you ever want any copies of the bills or any further information on them, just let me know, and I will accommodate you without any difficulty. You all should have received a while ago. I sent you sort of a breakdown relative to solar matters data center matters. In the big energy bill. I sent you all an email. I'll be happy to send it again, outlining the aspects of that dealing with data centers. And I know in other counties, and I presume in this county, that's a continuing conversation. I know your colleagues over in Frederick County, it's really quite a hot issue, but hopefully you have that. If you want me to send that to you again, it breaks down the elements of that massive energy bill dealing with data centers. I think you know the Washington County Study Salary Commission membership that was passed by the legislature, and also passed by the legislature was the additional district court judgeship that was created for this county. That was passed and signed by the governor at the request of the judicial branch of government. I would also say that looking here at my notes, number of the local bills were passed. The Washington County Sales and Use Tax Exemption Target Redevelopment Area, that was passed. And really enjoyed working with your delegation, and they worked well with the delegates and the senators worked very well together, and had their own opinions about views and issues. But as I said, I attended all those meetings and tried to be accessible and give advice and counsel whenever it was requested. Be happy to answer any questions you may have. I would say that there is a lot of talk of a special session. It would not impact any substantive legislation if it is called. It would be on the issue of redistricting. I'm not involved in that at all. Talking last night with Senator Hershey, he's thinking that the Senate President's having some difficulties getting enough people for there to be a quorum, and since it would have to be a constitutional amendment, you need a super quorum to pass anything, to go on the ballot. So it's very uncertain, but that might happen. If it would be in July. But a lot of people have plans and arrangements and what have you. But other than that, there would not be any substantive information and any other bills. I mean, bills could be introduced, but that would be the sole topic of that, as well. And be happy to answer any questions you may have. I will be at MACO. I'll be available to all of you. I will attend your DOT meeting, just to sit and observe and learn and do whatever I can.
Questions? Your questions? Thank you.
Bruce, thank you for what you do. I was there multiple times this spring in pursuit of my appointment, by the Senate, so I would make myself present. And it's 9 o'clock at night, and who do I see walking away from the chamber? Here comes Bruce. And I couldn't get to you in time to speak to you. You headed back to the parking garage. No, but I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised.
The younger the younger delegates, the younger lobbyists don't realize all that stuff, but it's not a 9-to-5 job.
It was an empty street, and you were the only man on the street.
But I love it. I really love it. I enjoy it. I love people. I love working with people, and you really have to know the people you're working with, good or bad or indifferent or what have you, to get things done. You have an obligation to a client, in this case, Washington County, and you really have to work it. But I enjoy it. I know I'm a lot older, but everyone wants to know when I'm going to retire, and I tell them when I die I'll retire. So, I mean, I'm giving them an answer, But as long as you want me, you can have me.
I just want to say that I testified a couple of times alongside Bruce, and I wanted to thank him for all that he does for Washington County. It made it much easier for me.
It's a pleasure. It really is. I mean, I don't say it just lip service. To represent a municipality like Ocean City or a county like Washington County, it's a real honor. I mean, it really is. Gives me some stature. Thank you all very much. I wish you well. Really, if you need any further information at any time, just ask me. I'll be at MACO and I'll be available if you want to meet with me. For those of you that are coming to MACO.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You
Be
too.
safe.
Okay, next up under tab 4, Washington County Emergency Operations Plan, Alan Matheny and Brian Lohman.
Morning.
Good morning.
Alan Matheny, Director of Emergency Management Communications.
Brian Lohman, Emergency Management Planner.
We're here to ask for the Commissioners to approve the updated Emergency Operation Plan. The EOP, Emergency Operation Plan, is designed to provide a structured approach for Washington County to effectively respond to emergencies and disasters. The EOP outlines specific procedures and protocols that guide the county's emergency management efforts, fostering a proactive culture of preparedness and resilience. This plan applies to all county departments and relevant stakeholders involved in emergency operations. It addresses a wide range of potential hazards, including natural disasters, technological incidents, public health emergencies, ensuring coordinated approach to protect the public safety and welfare. The EOP aligns with state and national standards and incorporates best practices in emergency management, providing a comprehensive guide to preparedness, response, and recovery. So we're seeking approval by the commissioners to adopt the emergency operation plan.
And the last time that was done was how long ago?
2009 is the last.
2009. How often? About every 10 years supposed to be done?
About 5.
5 years?
I'd like to commend Alan for the work that he's done to bring all of our emergency plans up to date since he's taken over as the division director. Thank you, Alan.
I have to thank Brian too, because it's been
Thank you, Brian.
a departmental effort to get these up to date.
Thanks to both of you. Absolutely.
Brian, my suspicion is that shelters for our public in the event of an emergency is an ongoing issue. Is that correct, or?
Oh, that's always an issue.
And do you have any wisdom, or what are you hearing? I know that you've attended numerous seminars and so forth where what are other jurisdictions doing?
They're all following the best practices out there.
Okay.
Trying to get everything up to the 2019 NIM standard, which is the most current. And working with the partners, so it's not just on one entity, it's on a group of folks. And it's sort of a specialized area because you get it up and running, woo-hoo, but then.
Plan, and there's an agreement in the works with the school board to get those shelters documented, so.
Excellent, excellent.
Just a
That's
slow
good to hear.
process.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Thanks again, gentlemen. A lot of hard work. The next item is a public hearing. It is scheduled for 9:45, which is about 3.5 minutes away, so we'll just take a quick recess. We'll wait till 9:45 to start the public hearing. Next item is a public hearing, agricultural preservation easement rankings FY 2027. The purpose of this hearing is to hear public testimony concerning the matter. The procedure is as following. We will first have the staff introduce the matter, after which the hearing will be open for public comment and testimony. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to testify. Testimony shall be limited only to the topic of the public hearing. Testimony that is not relevant to the subject matter of the public hearing, or that which is repetitive, disruptive, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the public hearing, will not be tolerated. Unauthorized remarks, loud noises, whistles, yells, or similar disruptions from the gallery shall not be permitted. Anyone who fails to follow these rules forfeits their opportunity to testify and will be asked to return to their seat or leave the meeting. Once public comment has concluded, the hearing will close. There shall be no donating or pooling of time to allow any one person to speak longer than 3 minutes. The commissioners may then discuss the issue and may move to approve or deny the proposed framework or defer action to a later date for further deliberation. At this time, I'm going to ask Chris Boggs, would you please introduce the matter?
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Boggs, Rural Preservation Administrator, Department of Planning and Zoning. Today we are reviewing the land preservation applications for the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Program, which is the largest part of Washington County's rural preservation strategy. All of the applications that are submitted are ranked by the local Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board using a priority ranking formula. It assigns points for characteristics such as soil quality, proximity to other preserved lands, ag status, economic viability, and relationship to other land use areas in the county. Following review and consideration of the public comment from this hearing, commissioners are requested to approve the top 16 applications to be forwarded to MALF, or the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation, based on the ranking formula. And the easements at that point will be purchased or made offers in order from the priority list until funds are executed. So starting at number 1 and working your way down the list till they run out of funding. Maryland law requires MALF and the county to maintain confidentiality of financial information and rankings for our easement applicants until the end of the annual easement acquisition cycle, which is why you all got that handout prior to the hearing starting. That is the final list approved by the Ag Board, but again, it's confidential until this cycle is over. Then it can be made public, or the public can request to see it. So the public list only lists the names in alphabetical order of the applicants. There is no impact to the general fund, but the county does have the opportunity to contribute local funds to the state's 60-40 match mechanism, in which for every $40 the county contributes, the state matches $60. It's a very good program. It's only for certified counties like Washington County. We usually use the ag transfer tax and real estate transfer tax funds for that, but from time to time we do, ask for to dip into other accounts if it's fiscally responsible. The Ag Advisory Board approves the rankings of these 16 applications, as well as the rankings of the rest of them. So the only alternatives would be to change the ranking or the number of applications to be submitted. And the recommended motion would be to approve the priority ranking of the easement applications for the top 16 applications to MALF. We're forwarding 16 because MALF said they will accept 16, so I'm going to give them as many as they'll take. Any questions?
Hearing none? Okay. With that, we will now open the hearing for public comment. Please come forward as your name is called. First on the list is Sean Porter.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Next on the list is Levi Trumbull. I don't Don't see Levi here. Okay. This concludes the public comment portion of the hearing. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff?
Before you ask, Jeff, got 17,503 acres in the MOUF program, and all total 43,645 acres through all of our preservation programs.
Thank you. You knew it was coming. Thank you very much.
Every time.
Chris, I have a question.
Sure.
The potential number of lots diminished. The third one on the ranking schedule has 28, is that correct?
Yes, it's multiple parcels.
Okay.
So you do the calculation based on each parcel. Some of them have the full 7 that you would get in the rural area as your cap, but some of I think it has 6 parcels, so it's, some are smaller, but are still ag assessed, so they can be part of the application.
But accumulative,
Yes,
all those
correct.
parcels total 219 acres. Okay.
209, it should be, right. All together, it's 219 acres.
Okay, that's it.
Chris, of the 16 submitted to ALF, what do you expect would get funded?
Well, right now, it's a very tough budget cycle for Land Pres, and it's probably going to be similar as the FY25 cycle, which, if you recall, was combined into 2 years instead of the normal 1-year cycle. They're doing the same thing with FY27-28. So they're going to take all the funding they can get for their program and combine 2 years together. My guess is 3, maybe 2, maybe 4.
Between 2 and 4 out of the 16.
What we contribute in December for the 60-40 match is probably going to make up the majority of the funding that we're going to receive, just like it did last time. And, we did a full match last cycle. If we could do that again, it's going to help a lot. But again, we'll cross that bridge come December.
Is it fair to say that anybody on this whole list would be eligible for some kind of easements or something throughout the year?
Well, so everyone on the list qualifies to apply for the MOUF program, and many of them qualify for other programs as well. So technically, yes, they would. Everyone on the list has met the minimum criteria to apply and potentially receive an easement offer.
Okay.
It's just that, when you got 50 applicants.
Yeah, you got 50 applicants, you might have money throughout the year for.
You've got, you spend everything you can get, but you're not gonna get them all.
Okay.
Sure.
Great. So it looks like you said a 60-40 match, so is that the state would pay 60% and Washington County would pay 40%?
Correct, and it's capped at $3 million.
$3 million each year. So I guess last year we paid 40% of $3 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, that decision.
1.3 is the max we can contribute. Well, technically, we can always contribute more if we like, but they'll only match up to 1.3 million.
Got it. And we did the maximum last year.
Yes.
And of course, by putting these in, we're not committing to making the match the full amount, correct?
No, we don't, we make the commitment in December. So that's when they ask for it. So when we commit our 40%, whatever that amount might be, that commitment is made in December. And I usually bring that in early December because they need an answer by the end of the year, so.
Very good, thanks.
Yes. And I'll try to keep Kelsey appraised of when I'm gonna make that request.
Good.
Chris, I get to sit on the Historic Advisory Commission, and so this inevitably preserves historic structures in Washington County.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's got to have a significant impact on the preservation of historic structures in our county.
It does, not to the effect that maybe a historic overlay might help, but yes.
Yeah. Good news. Good news.
Yeah, it's always nice when you start doing the title research and things like that, and you dig back and you're like, man, this house was built in 1750 or something. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, any other comments? Public hearing is now concluded, and we can now move on to deliberation. Any thoughts or consideration here today?
I would motion to approve this list.
I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign? Thank you.
Hey, John, any chance I can get you to sign this?
Sure.
This letter before I head out? It's just stating that we approved it today and
It's due today, is that correct?
Yes.
technically tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I will get that, I'll have them all in today.
Yeah.
There you go.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just scan and send us a copy of that?
Absolutely.
Okay, once again, we're slightly 3 or 4 minutes ahead of schedule. So I'm going to ask if we take another quick 3.5-minute recess until our item number 6, which is another public hearing. Agenda is a public hearing concerning the proposed adoption of an ordinance entitled Moratorium Ordinance for Washington County, Maryland. The purpose of this hearing is to hear a public testimony concerning the matter. The procedure is as follows. We will first have staff introduce the matter, after which the hearing will be open for public comment and testimony. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to testify. Testimony shall be limited only to the topic of the public hearing. testimony that is not relevant to the subject matter of the public hearing, or that which is repetitive, disruptive, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the public hearing will not be tolerated. Unauthorized remarks, loud noises, whistles, yells, or similar disruptions from the gallery shall not be permitted. Anyone who fails to follow these rules forfeits their opportunity to testify and will be asked to return to their seat or leave the meeting. Once public comment has concluded, the hearing will close. There shall be no donating or pooling of time to allow one person to speak longer than 3 minutes. The commissioners may then discuss the issue and may move to approve or deny the proposed framework or defer action to a later date for further deliberation. At this point in time, I'd like to ask Zachary Kiefer, would you please introduce the matter?
Thank you, President Barr. Zachary Kiefer, County Attorney. Before you is a recommended motion that at the conclusion of the public hearing would be to move to approve an ordinance deferring the acceptance, processing, reviewing, and approval of applications for data centers for a period of 6 months. Data centers are not adequately addressed by the county's local laws, including but not limited to the Washington County zoning ordinance. These facilities present unique challenges. They are high energy consumers, significant noise generators, and substantial water users. Data centers will have significant impacts on public infrastructure, county residents, and their property. It is critical for the county to evaluate their suitability along with potential economic, social, and environmental risks. And you do have a copy of the draft ordinance within your packet materials, and just a couple of highlights there. The proposed ordinance does provide a definition for data centers that could be subject to change depending on the results of further study and consideration of the matter. This deferral does not affect any existing use in the county. The proposed ordinance contemplates a 6-month deferral, but that could be either reduced or increased at the commissioner's discretion. And at the end of the 6 months, the deferral may be extended or substantive legislative action may be taken as a result of the study and research to implement proper regulatory safeguards and controls. And that's all I have, President Barr. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we will now open the hearing for public comment. Please come forward as your name is called. First on the list is Mr. Dave Williams.
I'm Dave Williams from Smithsburg. For transparency, I'm also a candidate for county commissioner. I'm here this morning to support a moratorium on data centers in Washington County. The draft ordinance states that the county wants to, quote, study data centers in light of changing consumer demand and changes to existing infrastructure in the county to evaluate their suitability and economic, social, and environmental risks, end quote. To do that effectively, I suggest that 6 months is not long enough for this study and 12 months is more appropriate. Along with concerns about increases to electric utility rates, the reality of economic benefits, noise, and other environmental impacts, one of the major concerns about data centers is their potential water use. That factor alone is enough to justify an extended moratorium. Washington County's severe water issues should be resolved before considering any facilities requiring high volumes of water. Developing the new grand plan for water that is supposedly already underway will certainly take longer than 6 months. In Ohio, a township that has 2 data centers felt they needed a 9-month moratorium to consider the impact of adding a third. So a 12-month moratorium here before allowing a first is not unreasonable. Prince George's County, Maryland has created a data center task force. Washington County should follow their example and create a similar task force and allow sufficient time for the task force to work. Over the next 12 months, state and possibly federal legislation regulating data centers will need to be considered. However long and by whatever means you conduct the study mentioned in the ordinance, you must make a commitment to transparency. Transparency must begin now. Tell us why this moratorium has suddenly appeared on your agenda. Are you being proactive in trying to prepare for a hypothetical future need, or have one or more companies already approached you about bringing a data center to the county? When was this approach made? Was this the reason for your NDA? Here's an easy transparency suggestion for you. Publicize all public hearings on the county website. A notice of this hearing didn't appear on the website until I suggested it. Go above and beyond the letter of the law and make it easy for citizens to see what public hearings are scheduled, so they can decide if they need to add their voice to the discussion. In general, based on what I'm hearing, the people of Washington County don't like huge buildings taking over green spaces, whether those huge buildings are holding boxes, people, or electricity guzzling computer equipment. You have a chance with data centers to do this the right way. Enact a 12-month moratorium. No data center should be considered until a long-term master plan to address the county's water and sewer needs is established. Create a data center task force that reports regularly and publicly about their work. Include opportunities for citizens and organizations to testify both for and against data centers. Educate citizens about the pros and cons, and be transparent throughout the process.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Next up is Sandra Fales. Sandra not here?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you for allowing public comment, because even though my demographic is similar to yours in age, some of you, and color of skin, I can assure you that my beliefs and values are different than yours. So it's important that, as my representative, you hear from me, just as it is important that you hear from others. I have lived and worked in this county for 45 years. I have raised my kids here, I've played with my grandkids here, and I've spread my parents' ashes here. I am here to tell you, as plainly as I can, we the people do not want data centers. We the people do not want concentration camps. We want clean air, we want clean water, and we want human rights for all in this county. While I applaud your 6-month moratorium on data center development, I'm very concerned about what will actually happen during those 6 months. Because this board's action on a project with similar negative impact, the Williamsport concentration camp, revealed a shocking lack of transparency, an inability to research verifiable information and facts, a total lack of desire to seek out or listen to constituent input, and an inability to override outside pressure in order to do what's right for our community. I offer the following evidence of your unwillingness to do what's right. This board told the community it had no knowledge of the Williamsport concentration camp, when in fact you'd been in discussion with DHS to negotiate a pay-to-play agreement. Public opposition to the Williamsport ice warehouse was immediate, yet this board opted for closed sessions and banned public comment so that community pushback and questions were silenced. It's a rhetorical device to compare your process on the ice warehouse with your process on data centers.
Ma'am, this is a public hearing concerning data centers.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with...
But I'm concerned what will happen during the 6-month moratorium based on your behavior when you considered the ice warehouse. I just have one more point. Despite the fact that ICE detention facilities were wreaking havoc in their communities, you forged ahead. Okay. So while I applaud your moratorium on data center development, I'm wondering, due to this board's lack of transparency, inability to ferret out verifiable facts and information, and lack of any desire to seek out or listen to constituent input, and your proclivity to bow to outside pressure, regardless of whether or not it harms this community, what is it that all of you seated in front of us are going to do in the next 6 months to turn back the harm you have caused this community by actively seeking to burden us with a double albatross of both a data center and a concentration camp? We do not want data centers. We do not want concentration camps. We want clean air, we want clean water, we want human rights for all of those in our county. You should want these things too, not just for yourselves, but for all of us. And you should work your hardest these next 6 months to make that a reality. It might be your last chance, and I'm telling you, it will most certainly be your legacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Sean Porter.
Good morning, distinguished communists, Nazis. This is a political ploy to trick low information voters using the Herald Mail to talk about this ordinance and using Tri-State Alert to brainwash the citizens of Washington County going into a general election into thinking that you're either for or against data centers without the proof of a voting record. So what's going to happen is you're going to say there's a moratorium, and it's funny, it expires just after the election. People are going to see through the fact that this is an election stunt, so you don't have to come down on being for or against data centers. And when you talk to one group of people, you can say, oh, I'm against them. You talk to another group of people, you can say, oh, I'm for them. Well, that would be because John Barr came in dead last out of 5 Republicans and is going to lose to a Democrat in the general election, possibly Jeff Klein, who came in number 4. So what's happening here is this is nothing but a ruse to make it seem like they're being patient and they're looking at all the options, pros and cons of data centers, but they're not. John Barr cannot wait until Ellsworth Electric gets to put in cable trays and run 500 MCM at the new data center that he's definitely going to approve. They always approve giant projects in this county that benefit Ellsworth Electric and John Barr.
Mr. Porter, you're finished.
How am I finished?
You're off subject.
I'm talking about the data centers and the money you're going to rake off of it through your company, Ellsworth Electric. I'm on subject.
Off air.
You have to warn me the first time anyway, according to your...
No, you're finished.
Off air, off air.
Tom Thorson, Washington County. I'm going to keep it short because I sent you all a letter over the weekend. I hope you read it. Thank you for choosing a 6-month moratorium on data center development rather than a permanent ban. This measured, balanced approach gives our community the time needed to carefully evaluate the economic, industrial opportunities these facilities can offer before making any long-term decisions. Data centers, when thoroughly sited and negotiated, can deliver benefits well beyond their fence lines. A few opportunities worth exploring. Heat recovery, closed-loop cooling that requires no city water at all. That's the way Europe has gone for the last several years. And you can use that waste heat for greenhouses, example, heating Mack truck, process heat for ConAgra, it's located here, or Certainty that requires that heat. And the other thing I'd like to point out is that we have a major natural gas line going adjacent to 81 in that area, and that could be used to generate their own electricity. The biggest thing is in Maryland, the Utility Relief Act, I think the gentleman earlier here, your lobbyist, was talking about. Maryland explicitly mandates that large load customers like data centers must fully pay for their own electrical transmission grid upgrades. The law requires transparent utility rates and requires the data centers to pay for all their own electrical infrastructure and their own separate rate, which will affect the residentials like myself. I encourage the board to use the moratorium window to develop sound land use policies, pursue community benefit agreements, and position our county to attract data center partners who will invest in our shared future. Thank you for your thankful response. Thank you.
Next up is Taj Smith.
Time. Dawn, the clock.
What?
The clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think Taj is here, didn't see her. Next up is Kathleen Thompson.
Good morning. Boonesboro born and raised, go Warriors. I'm also a geologist, and I work in Carroll, Frederick, Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties. And so with that, I ask that not only that you support this deferral, but include it into 12 months deferral or moratorium. I have 3 points with this. First is the groundwater issue. In our county, well water sits in cracks and openings beneath us. There is nothing separating our groundwater from the surface and no big underground lake feeding it. It is refilled only by the rain and snow that falls right here in our own watershed, and it soaks back down slowly. The Maryland Geological Survey is clear on one thing. The deeper you drill, the tighter the rock gets. So you cannot simply drill a deeper well and find more water. What's down there is all that we have. Second, the difference between a dry spell and our ongoing drought. A rainfall drought is about the weather and it ends when it rains. What we have is a groundwater drought, which is the water in the ground itself is running out. That recovers slowly over seasons and not days, and it refills mainly in late fall and winter. The survey states plainly that wells like ours are hit harder by drought than wells in other parts of the state because of how our rock holds that water. We are in that condition right now, and a data center, most of them being open or closed loop with water, would result in a greater groundwater drought. It would hurt our farmers and it would hurt the residents of our county. It creates an around-the-clock demand on top of a supply that is already low and slow to come back. Third, the groundwater contamination. As I said, 75 to 90% of data centers use water for cooling. An open evaporative system runs through large volumes of water in a county that is already in a groundwater drought would cause us to lose, and we would not get that water back, at least not within a couple of years. A closed-loop system uses far less water, but it gets there by keeping a charged loop of chemically treated water on site. That includes corrosion inhibitors, biocides, and other chemicals, including through the process leaches heavy metals. So with that, there is no seal between the surface and our groundwater. So if there's a leak, a spill, or a drain system, it doesn't stay at the surface. It ends up in our water for our residents and our farmers and our food. The survey already lists fuel from leaking gas tanks, of which I have to deal with, resulting in runoff and contamination of our groundwater in this county. A data center puts backup generator fuel that treats cooling water on the same large paved site, on the same fractured rock, draining into the same water our wells draw. We either spend water we cannot spare, or we contaminate our own drinking water. Thank you.
Next up is Altamont Wilkes. Okay, not here. Next person on the list is Jennifer Creeder.
Good morning.
I'm Jennifer Ballum-Creeder. I am a lifelong resident of Washington County, Mount Lena area. I was born and raised there. Several generations of my family have lived here in Washington County, and we need to do everything that we can to protect our environment. We only have one. Having data centers just uses up our natural resources and also destroys the natural beauty of Washington County, which we see by the numerous large buildings that have been built around Washington County. They are not lovely things to look at. So we need to really make sure that we are thinking through this policy. The moratorium needs to be extended. As the previous speakers have mentioned, there are lots of things to factor into that. And one of the things that I think has not been brought up is that data centers do not bring tons of employment for the long term. They bring jobs for the short term, but usually 20 to 30 people can run a data center. So this is not a job maker, this is an environment destroyer. It destroys the culture, it destroys the natural environment, and it hurts the people of Washington County. My children live here. I hope they continue the legacy of living in Washington County, but it needs to be a safe, accepting place for all people. I have nothing else to say, but please consider extending the moratorium. It is extremely important. I also vote. Thank you.
Okay, next on the list is Levi Trumbull. I don't think Levi is here. Next is Brandon Thompson.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Thompson and I live in Sharpsburg. I support a moratorium, but the specific kind matters. A flat 6-month clock that runs out right after the election doesn't protect us. It just moves the decision window when fewer people are watching. And we're in a fortunate spot. There's no project in front of us yet. That's an advantage. We can write the rules before a developer shows up instead of scrambling after. So my first ask is, don't tie this to a date. Tie it to outcomes. Keep it in place until this board votes to lift it, and don't allow that vote until 3 things exist. First, a real water use study, an honest accounting of how much these facilities draw and what our groundwater and the Potomac can spare in a drought year like this. One company's data center site in Frederick County was allocated 440,000 gallons a day of cooling water, and that's just their piece of the much larger Adamstown campus. We need to know what's left for our farms and households before we commit anything. Second is a grid impact analysis. In Maryland, we're part of PJM, a 13-state grid that shares costs and prices across the board. When huge new users like data centers pile on faster than power gets built, the price spikes for everyone. A data center doesn't even have to be built here to raise your bills. It already happened. The price the grid charges for backup capacity went from about $29 to over $320 in 2 years, more than 10 times higher, adding about $18 a month to Western Maryland bills before a single facility opens. The county deserves plain numbers on who pays for the substations and transmission, the developer or us. Third, updated zoning, setbacks from homes and farmland, noise limits, and impervious surface caps that account for what's already been built, like all these warehouses we see everywhere, not just one parcel at a time. When all 3 exist and the public has seen them, the board can vote to lift the pause. It should end because the work got done, not just because a calendar page got turned. My next big ask is that this condition is on transparency, not just for data centers, but any project drawing heavily on our shared utilities. Have the county attorney require that communications, term sheets, and incentive offers be published up front so residents don't have to file records requests to learn what's being negotiated in their name. A lot of people here don't trust how the big money deals get done in Washington County, and the Williamsport warehouse is part of why. You have a choice. You can rebuild that trust or deepen the suspicion. Putting it in the open proves there's nothing to hide. Voting it down says the opposite. There's a lot of red, white, and blue in this room, 1776 to 2026. But none of it really means anything if the people elected to serve the county stop listening and removing American citizens while they're exercising their First Amendment right. Not really a great start.
Thank you. Next up is Seth Funk.
I don't think he's here.
Seth not here. Okay. Next is Matthew Penrod.
Hello. I want to say first and foremost that I am a property owner here in Washington County. I am a voter. However, I've never felt represented by you, this commission. And what's going on outside right now, and what many of us are feeling in our hearts, those who aren't necessarily coming out and protesting, is there has been a break of trust. Growing numbers of people in this community simply do not trust you. And this data center development concept is just one more, log on the fire. Because where did this come from all of a sudden? It's not like people haven't been upset and concerned and riled up in this county over land use for many months and many years, starting with the development of all these warehouses. For you to suddenly drop this concept of the possibility of us having a data center here just from out of the blue, and then you give us a 6-month moratorium, I'm sure you're all gonna vote for it. Because deferring it for 6 months is exactly what Sean Porter said. This is a way of covering your behinds for this coming election. So you can say whatever you need to say to get elected to all these people out there having doubts who have lost trust in you. You can say whatever you want to appease them and then turn around 6 months later and vote to build data centers. And it's not only shocking to hear a data center is being planned, but for the first time, I just heard about this yesterday or 2 days ago. Now you're saying data centers. You're talking about the possibility of more than one. Why? And why has anyone on this board stopped to think about why we suddenly need data centers? Is there suddenly this explosion of need for us to have everything fueled by artificial intelligence to make our lives better when we live out in one of the most beautiful areas in this country and our quality of life is being threatened? Do you want to turn this area into Northern Virginia just for what? Tax revenues? While we pay escalating property taxes, utility bills, and get our drinking water poisoned? This is wrong. Go on the record before the election to tell us what you think.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penrod. With that, this concludes the public comment portion of the hearing. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff?
I do.
Neil?
Great. First I want to say thank you to the comments. I really appreciate hearing from everyone. But one of the questions I have is with zoning, if a business were to come in tomorrow and say they wanted to do a data center here, how long would they typically take before the current zoning would actually take effect? Like, basically, they couldn't say they're going to start building tomorrow.
No, the basic timeframes for plan review and permitting, they couldn't start building tomorrow. They need to go through the permitting process.
Right, and it's going to take quite a bit of time. I mean, these things don't just pop up overnight.
Generally, I'd say that's correct.
Like in Adamstown, that took a long, long time.
Yeah.
So even if we didn't have a 6-month moratorium, then we still would probably have time to change the rules as we needed to. Is that correct?
Would
That's
somebody
not
be ground-
advisable,
yeah.
but yes, there would be plan review, permitting, all the folks down in 747 would have an opportunity to review this plan. So no, I mean, again, there's for any company to come in, whether it's a data center or not, and think they can just turn a shovel and start building something without having county oversight, that they wouldn't be able to do that.
Right, so we actually have time. It's not like, even if we didn't do a moratorium, we probably have 6 months to change the rules. And I think we should look at the rules, some of the zoning changes, and make those changes. I'm afraid, though, that we're sending the wrong message, that Washington County is not open for business. I'd like us to be open for business and to let data centers know this is a place where they're welcome. I'm concerned about the language that we have here. I have a question. Does Washington County already have some data centers?
Not to my knowledge. Again, we don't have a defined term for data centers, so whether you were looking at,
Well, isn't the one by the Washington County Board of Education, isn't that a data center?
not in the context of what is being considered here and what these, what the folks have been commenting on. That's, as I understand it, and I don't know the exact parameters of what they do in there, but they are not necessarily, would be a data center defined under what's contemplated in the ordinance. So again, that's why in my introduction I said that the local laws are not adequate to produce or to address these things, excuse me, because really, you know, these are a newer concept. We don't have any in the county. That's why my suggestion, my advice is that more study is needed to be done so they can be properly defined. And then the first question isn't necessarily a fight between a potential developer and staff over whether it meets a proposed defined use in the zoning ordinance or not.
Yeah, I guess I would suggest that it probably would be considered a data center. It's full of computers, it's got satellites.
It certainly may be. Again, I don't know exactly what's going on in there, Commissioner, but that just, I think, underscores the need for more properly defined terms.
So in Loudoun, this is more of a comment, not a question. Loudoun County, they do have data centers, and just so for the record, they had their property tax at $1.14 per $100 of assessed value, and they've reduced that to 80 cents.
How many people live in Loudoun County? What's the population?
Well, this isn't a discussion. The vehicle tax rate was also decreased from $4.15 to $3.09 per $100 of assessed value. It's been a boon for Loudoun County. And I want to make sure that Washington County,
Sorry. Commissioner Parrott, respectfully, this is, if you have any questions for staff, there's, after the public hearing closes, there's deliberation. I think we're kind of shifting towards deliberation. But staff from planning and zoning are also here too. I just want to point that out.
great, thank you. Do you think 6 months would be enough time to process some of the changes that we're looking at?
Staff's initial assessment was that they felt it should be 12 to 18 months. They recommended 18 months. The staff that had originally recommended that are not here today. I just want to point that out, that we have representatives because that initial staff member is on vacation right now.
And what would make it take so long?
They indicated that they needed to do some analyses, review analyses that are being done in other counties, such as Montgomery County, PG County, maybe other states and jurisdictions, to review the potential impact, not just on the economy, but on residents and our water resources, our utility resources, to determine if things like alternate power sources should be built into the ordinance so that the data center potentially, or the developer that would be looking at us, should be more self-supporting versus relying on our resources. So those are some of the things that staff brought up.
So you're suggesting that of course, 6 months is where we start, that it might need to be longer than that?
That's what staff, yeah, that's what staff had initially recommended.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments, discussion? Close it and then deliberate. Okay, At this point, the public hearing is now concluded. We now move on to deliberation.
There was, is this time for us to talk now? Is that, yeah. It was a lot of good comments, some things that I didn't quite understand it before. I understand now a little better. We have put a lot of time into this, trying to come up with a resolution. From around the country, we know it's going to probably be inevitable. So with that being said, I think that we have to get this right. I mean, we just can't shoot from the hip and expect, and from being involved in land development in the past and Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, and every other agency under the roof, it takes a while to get this right. It takes quite a while to figure out. The geologist who spoke had a lot of good points. I mean, I think we realized a lot of them, but not all of them. So it's something that can't happen overnight. And it's my opinion that maybe we do need longer than 6 months. The wheels of government move slow sometimes, and we might need longer than 6 months to try to come up with a good battle plan, because from Planning Commission, I mean, it could be 3 months in the Planning Commission alone, not mentioning every other department in the county. So my concern is whatever we do, we get it right. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's just my concern. I just want to get it right. Whether it's pro, con, I just want to make sure we got all of our bases covered. So I would probably be okay with extending it beyond 6 months. Yes. Or if staff recommended longer, shorter, longer. It clearly said in the opening statements from the attorney that we can do longer or shorter, but that's up to the rest of the commissioners if they want to keep it at 6 or extend it longer, or whether they're going to vote for it at all.
I will just say that staff had initially recommended 12 to 18 months. When we were looking at what other counties were doing, most of them were doing 12 months.
I would be fine with the 12 months, just as, I want to get it right. I mean, I'm sorry, I just want to get it right, so. I don't know, put your guys, speak up, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to support 12 months, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, Washington County's business friendly, but I want to be known to be friendly to the voters and people I represent too. We have to be cautious. We have to get this right. I don't want the tax bills to go down and all of a sudden your electric bill's up $500 a month. So I clearly want to make sure that the infrastructure, water and sewer, water and the electric is there, and that data centers are bearing the burden of paying for a lot of that. I don't want y'all back in here a year from now, your electric bill is $2,500 a month, or the surplus in the area 3 years later has worn down. Yes, we want to be known as business friendly, but to echo Commissioner Wagner's thoughts, we have to get this right. So moratorium 6 months or longer would be okay with me while we get this ordinance prepared. Solar farms came in and took advantage of this county. Warehouses came in so fast, one could say, taking advantage of the county for your comments. And nowhere in this ordinance we have now, does it say data center in any of our ordinances, or solar or satellite arrays is specific to that?
It's not defined.
So what stops them coming in using legalese to run amok in here, taking advantage of our antiquated zoning that needs to be updated during this moratorium? That, quote, Commissioner Wagner, that we get it right. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments?
I'd just like to thank the 8 citizens who spoke to us this morning. Thank you for coming in. It's a big deal. I know it's hard to stand up in front of an assembled body and speak, and I thank you for doing that. I, too, am in favor of 12 months. I certainly have no problem with moving it to 12 months, just so we get it right.
And if the ordinance comes back sooner, we can have a public decision on less than 12 or longer, correct?
And I want to point out that any changes to the ordinance would require public hearings, not only at the Planning Commission, but here with the Board of County Commissioners.
Go in front of the Planning Commission, then it comes back to us with a recommendation. And at the Planning Commission, there'll be opportunity for public.
Correct.
Planning Commission as well.
Numerous opportunities for public comment.
Okay. All right, we
And I guess,
Commissioner Wagner, you want to
Make a motion?
I'll make a motion for 12 months.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the vote. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed, I'd like to explain my vote. When we look at electrical
Can I
rates.
interrupt a second?
What's that?
I know you want to explain your vote and get out. Why don't you talk and explain your vote during our discussion part instead of after the vote? You might have valuable information. Maybe we could have went along with you better. But why you want to explain your vote after we've already voted when the time for discussion amongst the commissioners?
Well, Robert's rules allows it, and so I'm going to use it. Thank you.
You know, I would recommend you do that in the future so we have
could
an
do that.
honest conversation instead of giving you the last word here, because maybe we all want to go back and explain our vote as well.
You could explain your vote after I'm done.
And that's why I'm explaining why you're explaining your vote.
So when you look at electrical costs, I've talked with Potomac Edison. They actually said if you had more users, they would actually lower the cost. Well, that's Potomac Edison. When we look at Loudoun County, they've been able to lower their property taxes, lower their vehicle taxes. When we look at what's happening around the country, there's a great need for data centers. And I want to make sure that Washington County sends the message that we're open for business. And I am afraid that by doing this today, we're sending the wrong message. And of course, now we're extending it beyond the 6 months.
Have you talked to Jonathan Horowitz about the billions of dollars of economic development Washington County is bringing in? I sat on Tri-County Council in the former George Board. Those two counties to the west of us are envious amount of business and stuff that we're bringing here. To even insinuate that Washington County is not business friendly is more rhetoric than it is substance, and I reject that.
Well, when it comes to business, when it comes to data centers, we are anti, so.
Yeah, we all know we need data centers, but we have to get this right. We cannot just let them come in on ordinances that aren't updated. And to take a position otherwise, I totally disagree with. We're not, you yourself said it'll take a length amount of time.
Okay, gentlemen, we have taken a vote, and it is 4-1. So and Commissioner Parrott has explained his position on the matter. I'd like to move forward.
Good.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move right on into the next item on the agenda, and I need a vote to convene as the Board of Health before we discuss this next item.
Motion to convene as the Washington County Board of Health, Health Department.
Okay,
Need a second.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to convene as the Board of Health. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are now operating as the Board of Public Health.
Earl Stoner, Health Officer, Washington County Health Department.
A.B. Sebeti, Division of Behavioral Health, State Opioid Response Coordinator.
Hi, and I'm Laura Sheffield Bishop, Director of Behavioral Health Services at the Washington County Health Department.
And I apologize, Earl, I didn't explain the next item. I was too busy trying to convene as the Board of Health. So this is the SOR 4 State Opioid Response Adolescent Clubhouse Program.
And so we are here today to get approval to award funds to the Horizon of Goodwill for the continuation of an adolescent clubhouse that they do, really preventive in nature. It's not a treatment-related program, but it's focused on prevention, particularly primary prevention, operating under the guidance of evidence-based programming, looking at trying to get parental involvement and all those good things about keeping kids off the street, at-risk kids off the street, and giving them appropriate skills to make good decisions and having their families hopefully involved in those activities. And we are here today to seek continuation of that. This is all money. This is not any county money. It's all money that comes down from the Maryland Department of Health, the Behavioral Health Administration, and it's in the amount of $252,900. And the contract period would be July 1st, 26th through June 30th of 2027.
Okay, Discussion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Next item is under tab 8, COSSUP Lead Services, Potomac Case Management Services, Inc.
And this would be, again, we were here a couple of weeks ago with the LEAD program with actually amendment number 2 awarding an increase in that. This would be amendment number 3 to that contract with Potomac Case Management Services, increasing the award by another $10,446. This program is funded through multiple grants, basically a couple funding streams. And this, again, as the previous one was, out of another grant, was a budget modification that we did with leftover money. And it would go to Potomac Case Management to continue with LEAD-related activities.
This is all 100%.
Oh, yes, 100% coming from the state.
From the state.
Excuse me.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
it. Need a motion to reconvene as the Washington County Board of County Commissioners.
Motion to reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
And a second.
Motion is second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 9 is renewal extension sole source procurement award, Munis software utility billing support.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandy Kentner, Director of Procurement. Angie Poffenberger, Budget and Finance Deputy Director of Software Support and Training. The first recommendation I have for you this morning is the renewal extension for sole source procurement, PUR 1654. Move to approve for the renewal extension for a sole source procurement of the software licensing and support fees from Tyler Technologies out of Dallas, Texas, for the use by the Office of Budget and Finance, the Treasurer's Office, and other county departments in the amount of $249,740.70 for the period beginning July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The Office of Finance wishes to apply Sections 1 through 106.2A1 and 2 of the Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County to this procurement. This section states that a sole source procurement is authorized and permissible when only one source exists that meets the county's requirements and the compatibility of equipment, accessories, and replacement parts is paramount to the consideration. The Tyler Enterprise Software and Support being recommended for renewal has expanded and enhanced the county's treasurer's Maryland real estate and personal property tax management system, which was originally implemented in 2003. Additionally, the current software components replaced the county's old utility billing system in January of 2015, which was retired by Oracle and PeopleSoft. The current software system consolidated tax, utility billing, and general billing operations under one centralized cashiering and remitting system across the enterprise and provides a comprehensive citizen web portal with 24/7 access to tax, utility, and general billing information and online payments. This request requires 4 out of 5 commissioners to proceed. Funding is available in the software account for this purchase.
Okay. Discussion?
Just have questions.
Sure.
Thanks. I know it's kind of expensive, but is this something that other counties are using as well?
Yes, the Tyler product, when we originally went to it in 2003, was we visited Anne Arundel County and many of the other Maryland counties because the Tyler specialized in specifically setting up their tax module that it followed any of the state mandated changes and things that happened. So that was originally why we went with the Tyler product in 2003, which at that time was called Munis.
Right, and it was competitive at that time in 2003.
Yes.
And I guess there are other companies that can do similar work, but we're kind of tied into this Tyler product at this time.
Because originally we went with it because of the tax, but then when PeopleSoft was changing their model of how they did UB,
they had a nice, robust utility billing module and a general billing module. So when we migrated that off of PeopleSoft onto the utility and general billing that Tyler offered and implemented that in 2013 and 14 and went live with it in 15. And then at that time in 13, we also incorporated the Tyler cashiering system, which made it compatible that all of the departments in the county have a centralized place to enter their cash deposits for the day, which feed into the treasurer's office. So it's all centralized. And then we also brought on the citizen self-service, which is the web-based payments and online inquiry for tax bills, general bills, and utility bills.
So it ties in well with the state comptroller's office, is that correct?
Well, it does, because anything that's mandated by the state of Maryland through the assessment office, all the eyes of the Maryland counties that are using the Tyler and Munis product, they're very active in letting the Tyler product know what changes are coming, and they're also following that. So anything that's mandated by the state is usually always incorporated into the tax billing. That's why it's fit us so well for the 23 years we've used it. And the nice thing is it's a very consistent package. It's like usually like Oracle, you guys just saw that we got an identity upgrade with the passwords in the last weekend. We're not changing things every 5 years. If it's working, they're keeping the product as is, and it's worked well for us.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you. Next item under tab 10 is contract award PUR 1820 Taxiway H rehabilitation at Hagerstown Regional Airport.
Randy Kentner, Director of Procurement.
Andrew Ashwin, Director of Public Works. Neil Doran, Airport Director.
The next recommendation I have for you is the contract award PR 1820. The following recommendation the motions require approval. Motion 1, award the contract for Taxiway H rehabilitation at the Hagerstown Regional Airport to the responsible firm, C. William Hetzer of Hagerstown, Maryland, with the lowest total bid sum of $915,795. This will be contingent upon successful FAA and MAA grant application and award. Motion number 2, move to empower the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign FAA and MAA grant applications and for county staff to submit such applications. Motion number 3, move to empower the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign ADCI task order and for staff to subsequently issue purchase orders and complete related paperwork for this project. The project scope includes the reconstruction and/or rehabilitation of Taxiway H and includes asphalt milling and overlay, replacement of edge lighting with LEDs, new signage and markings. The existing taxiway is near the end of its useful life and needs rehabilitation to remain compliant with FAA regulations. The new LED lighting will save on utility costs. The invitation to bid was advertised on the county's new online bidding site, eMaryland Marketplace, which is the state's bidding site. 11 companies downloaded the document. 2 firms were represented at the pre-proposal, and we did receive 1 bid. Funding is available in the capital improvement plan for this project, and that budget is RUN 025.
Andrew, generally, you guys are really close on engineers at estimate. You're about, I don't know, 125,000 off or so?
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
a
sort
big
of normal?
recommendation letter in there. I mean, again, with 1 bid, sometimes it's a moving target, so that's why the FAA requires that anyway, that independent analysis and evaluation of the bid items. So again, it's highly specialized work. There's some night work activities, but all that considered, it's still in line with the engineer's estimate. Neil, would you like to clarify also that motion number 3, some additional information that's been passed out?
And motion number 3 is for task order number 13 in the amount of $141,159. This is for construction, administration, management, and inspection services. Apologize that we're handing that out today. We received it a little past the deadline for the packet submission. An independent fee estimate was also included, and it concurred with this price that we were getting a good value on those services.
Taxiway H serves how many hangars? Like 3?
There are 4 hangars, yeah.
So how are they serviced during this construction? How do they operate?
Well, he alluded to using night work and trying to very carefully coordinate operations so we don't disrupt business operations.
Yeah.
We already had a tenant meeting about it, so we could make sure we keep dust down, and we worked through some of the issues with the
Tenants are on
rock
board.
under the ground.
We don't have, if it needs to be fixed, it needs to be fixed, but tenants, but they're on board, they're okay.
Yeah, there was the suggestion that we move to night work, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Did they move to night work? Did that increase the cost? Maybe that's why it's above the engineer's estimate?
It could have played some role in that. One of the tenants that we have does paint operations, and so you can imagine if ripping up the ground and asphalt paving or other things, that could carry dust and other things in the wind and damage a newly painted aircraft. So having the doors down when that work is going on makes a lot of sense.
And it sounds like that decision was made before it went out to bid, the night work. Is that correct?
We did try to talk to the tenants as soon as possible, and then that worked into the scope as well. Some of the feedback from the bidders also was that we have a lot of rock under the ground, and that it's going to take extra time and effort to work through those things as we put new cabling for the lighting systems in the ground.
And then, do we just get one bid on this one?
Correct.
Normally, don't we get more than that?
Well, so the last paving project that we hear before you, runway 220, we received 2 bids. So again, this is highly specialized pavement work. It's, FAA oversight, so there's a lot of additional compliance that your general pavement contractor is not going to be outfitted for. The other bid that we did receive on that other project was not a local contractor. They had, a fair amount more mobilization to get to the site, and they were $800,000 higher. I think it was about 2.2 million to 3 million. So again, it's not a total surprise that this project's a little smaller in scope. We would obviously like more competition, but I can't say we were totally surprised to receive 1 bid. And speaking from recent experience, I would say Hetzer has received most of our taxiway and runway pavement projects just because they have that local advantage. They do have the capabilities to do that. So they have a bit of a competitive advantage against other contractors that have to travel further.
Yeah, I think it's extremely nice that we have a local contractor that's so capable, that's right here and can do this. I would try and suggest, though, we try to get other bids, maybe from people who are working on BWI or other airports in the area in the future.
We advertised hundreds and hundreds of vendors, so the fact that 11 of them accessed and looked at it, and we still only got 1, I mean, our outreach has really grown since we went online with our bidding. So it grows every day. I think we're up to 700 that have registered inside our system, so if they're under that commodity of service, they are notified that we have a public bid out there.
Great, thank you.
Does the airport have a contribution to the grant if it's awarded?
Yes, I think all up, the numbers are not in front of me, I think it's about 40,000 that we contribute towards the project.
Okay.
So FAA is funding at 95%. That's
consistent with the other FAA grants.
Yeah, good to
Thank you.
take advantage of the opportunity to use these funds while they're still available.
Thanks.
Neil, is Taxiway H, I should know, but is it below the surface? Does it descend from the taxiway elevation? Or is it at the same? Virtually
You
the
mean
same?
from Alpha?
No, yes, from Alpha. Does it?
I'm not sure on that. It might a little bit across its full length.
Neither
yeah.
one of us know. Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to walk it more often.
Yeah, I mean, I know the further west we go, we descend in elevation and it becomes unusable at its current, but I get it, so, okay.
Yeah, this project is primarily addressing that central portion, the grant eligible portion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, use power or brakes, Randy, that's all I can tell you, buddy, up or downhill.
But generally, these taxiways don't have much of a gradient.
Okay, thank you.
I'd
Okay.
motion to approve that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Motion is second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next.
There's 3 motions.
Three.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Okay. Motion number 2. Motion?
Motion to empower the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign the FAA MAA grant application.
Good.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for motion number 2. All in favor?
And that's with approval of the Board of Commissioners, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So we have a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, need a motion for motion number 3.
Make a motion to empower the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign ADCI task order and for staff to subsequently issue purchase orders and complete related paperwork for this project.
With the support of
Okay.
the commission.
Motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay. Now we can move on to tab number 11, Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase 26-0330. 1, Pierce Enforcer Walk-In Rescue Fire Truck for the Division of Emergency Services.
Randy Kentner, Director of Procurement.
Eric Jacobs, Assistant Director, Emergency Services.
The next recommendation I have for you is the Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase, INTG 26-0330. Move to authorize by resolution for the purchase of 1 Pierce Enforcer walk-in rescue fire truck from Atlantic Emergency Solutions out of Manassas, Virginia, for a total sum of $1,450,372, and to utilize another jurisdiction's contract that was awarded by the Houston-Galveston Area Council. The Code of Public Local Law of Washington County provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another government entity as long as we abide by the same terms and conditions of that contract. The county will benefit with the direct cost savings with this purchase due to the economies of scale the contract has leveraged. The addition of this unit will provide enhanced service, delivery capabilities, and expand the equipment cache to the current rescue squad and replace an aging unit that continues to increase in maintenance cost. Funding is available in the department's capital budget for this purchase.
And Commissioners, just to clarify, this is a CIP project. Funding for the purchase is available tomorrow.
What's the timeline on this year and a half?
No, it's, the current trend is in between that 36 and 48 month. There has been movement by this manufacturer recently with some additional facilities, but it's just a waiting game with the apparatus purchase.
And I just want to clarify that this is for a replacement rescue squad for Hancock EMS. It is also part of the fiscal year 27 budget, which means that the contract for this will not be signed until tomorrow.
Okay.
Not for Hancock. This rescue squad actually will be assigned to Sharpsburg.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay. Is this paid for out of multiple years, budget years?
It's budgeted for in the fiscal year 27 budget.
Totally.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, we need a motion?
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Motion is second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab number 12 is Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase 26-0333, 2-wheeled coach 1170 ambulance on a Ford F-550 4x4 chassis with the Division of Emergency Services, for the Division of Emergency Services.
The next recommendation I have is an intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG 26-0333. Move to authorize by resolution for the purchase of 2-wheeled coach 1170 ambulance from Atlantic Emergency Solutions out of Manassas, Virginia, for a total sum of $805,741, and to utilize another jurisdiction's contract that was awarded by Sourcewell. These ambulance purchases are intended to ensure consistent service delivery across the Division of Emergency Services while maintaining an EMS unit specification that aligns with the current reserve ambulance fleet. Standardizing unit configuration supports operational practices, reduces training and maintenance, and ensures crews can transition between primary and reserve units. The Code of Public Local Law of Washington County 1 through 106.3 provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another government entity as long as we abide by the same terms and conditions of that contract. And there is a cost savings due to the economies of scale the contract has leveraged. Kelsey Mace will be bringing funding over for this purchase in one of the next action items on the agenda.
Okay, discussion, motion?
I never thought I'd say this, but $805,000 for 2 ambulances is actually a pretty good deal.
Unbelievable.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Tab 13, sole source procurement, PUR 1830, 2 LifePak 35 monitor defibrillators.
Randy Kenner, Director of Procurement.
David Chisholm, Deputy Director, Emergency Services.
The next recommendation I have for you is the sole source procurement, PUR 1830. Move to authorize for the Division of Emergency Services to purchase 2 LifePak 35 monitor defibrillators from Stryker Sales LLC out of Chicago, Illinois, for a total cost of $124,990. The 2 monitor defibrillators will be placed on 2 new ambulance vehicles that were requested today, ensuring compatibility of equipment and maintaining continuity and training with these devices is crucial for the health and safety of our community. The Department of Emergency Services wishes to apply Sections 1 through 106.2A, 1 and 2 of the Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County to this procurement. This section states that a sole source procurement is authorized and permissible when only one source exists that meets the county's requirements, and 2, the compatibility of equipment, accessories, or replacement parts is paramount in this consideration. Section 1 through 106.2B and 2 of the Code of Public Local Law requires the approval of 4 of 5 commissioners to move forward with this procurement. Funding for this purchase is available in the department's capital improvement account.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 14, intergovernmental cooperative purchase 26-0334, 30 new Motorola APX 8500 mobile radios for the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
Randy Kentner, Director of Procurement.
Joshua Neal, CTO Information Systems, here for Mr. Weber.
The next recommendation I have for you is the intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG 26-0334. Move to authorize by resolution for the Washington County Sheriff's Department to purchase 30 new Motorola APX 8500 mobile radios. The radios will be purchased from Motorola Solutions out of Linthicum Heights, Maryland, for a total proposal price of $220,885.20. We also are asking to utilize another jurisdiction's contract that was awarded by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. The Washington County Sheriff's Department is requesting to purchase 30 radios to be installed into 30 new 2026 Chevy Tahoe police cruisers that we're already in possession of. Those cruisers were ordered last year in April and November. The Code of Public Local Law of Washington County provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another government entity as long as we abide by the same terms, conditions, and pricing of that contract. And there is a cost benefit by using that contract due to the economies of scale. It is leveraged. Funding is available in the department's CIP budget for this purchase. Well, it's the Metropolitan Washington Council of Government. So it's a cooperative group that exists more locally for us.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 15, intergovernmental cooperative purchase 26-0337, 7 John Deere Z-Track mowers for Parks and Facilities Departments.
Randy Kettner, Director in Purchasing.
Daniel Jason, Deputy Director, Buildings and Facilities.
The next recommendation I have for you is the intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG-26-0337. Move to authorize by resolution for the Parks and Facilities Department to purchase 7 John Deere Model Z950M Z-Track mowers from Atlantic Tractor out of Hagerstown, Maryland, for a total cost of $81,218.34, and to utilize another jurisdiction's contract that was awarded by Baltimore County Public Schools to John Deere of Cary, North Carolina. The state of Maryland issued a blanket purchase order to allow other state agency, local governments, and higher education institutes to piggyback off this competitively bid contract, which was awarded by the Baltimore County Public Schools. The department is requesting to purchase 7 zero-turn mowers to replace 7 mowers that are 10 to 17 years old and exceed the county's vehicle and equipment types usage guidelines. The county's replacement guidelines for these mowers is recommended at a 10-year economic life cycle. The replacement mowers will be advertised and sold on the GovDeals site. The Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another government entity as long as we abide by the same terms, conditions, and pricing of that contract, and we are doing so by utilizing this contract. There's also a cost saving due to the economies of scale that is leveraged, and funding is available in the department's capital improvement budget for the purchase.
Hey, Danny, just a curious question. We're replacing 7 that are 10 to 17 years old. At any given time through the summer, how many of those are broke down out of those? Is there always a couple out of
There's always
service?
a couple sitting around. I've got a couple spares that we throw into the fleet whenever they're broke down. So I've got 2 down right now with the hydraulic, the transmission is more or less one. 2 of those.
So you don't have all 7 in service, but you keep a couple of the old ones to, yeah.
Danny, are we replacing John Deere's with John Deere's? Yeah, so you like the performance?
Yeah, well, it's, once you get started, we have all the parts on hand to keep filtering into new ones. A lot of that stuff doesn't change, the pulleys, the spindles, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Next item under tab 16, emergency procurement, PUR 1829, hot water heating system at the detention center.
Randy Kentner, Director of Procurement.
Larry Hill, Senior Systems Mechanic, Washington County Sheriff's Office.
The last recommendation I have for you this morning is an emergency procurement, PUR 1829. Move to approve the emergency procurement to replace the hot water heating system at the Washington County Detention Center. This work will be completed by Mixed Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning out of Thurmont, Maryland, for a total sum of $81,000. The work consists of providing all necessary pipe, fittings, permits, and labor to bring the heating system back into working order. On February 8, 2026, a 650-gallon domestic hot water storage tank located in the second floor mechanical room of the female housing unit area at the detention center had a catastrophic failure. The bottom of the tank failed near the piping. The contents of the tank, as well as the additional water in the tank, made their way through the ceiling and stairwell of the first floor mechanical and electrical rooms, as well as offices, server room, laundry room, and control center. Maintenance staff responded, as well as on-duty security staff, shutting the supply off of the system and began the cleanup. An in-house plan was developed to continue normal operations. The options that was chosen was to move female detainees to the HPOD housing unit in small groups for showers and hygiene maintenance. After consultation with Mixed Plumbing and Heating, that's the current county vendor for plumbing, and county staff, it was agreed that a temporary connection be installed between the HPOD housing unit, its hot water heating system, and the female housing system. An informal request for quote was sent out to 5 vendors. Terry did make a call to see who was interested in quoting that. Out of those 5, we only received 2 responses back, and Mix was the lowest. In the past 30 days, the detainee count at the facility has risen by 12%. That being said, one, a permanent repair is necessary. Two, if we had to integrate the detainees back into HPOD, the temporary repair of the system would not be able to handle the demand. Three, the HPOD system was not designed to carry even the load that we currently have. And four, the continued demand on this temporary fix may not hold up. The Code of Public Law of Washington County 1 through 106.4B states that the procurement officer may make an emergency procurement by any method that the procurement officer considers most appropriate to avoid or mitigate serious damage to public health, safety, or welfare. Washington County's purchasing policy, Section 3.5, provides that an emergency condition in a situation that creates a threat to public health, welfare, or safety, such as may arise by reason of flood, epidemic, riots, equipment failures, or other such reasons as proclaimed by the using agency. The existence of such conditions creates an immediate and serious need for supplies, equipment, materials, and services that cannot be met through the procurement method and lack of which would threaten the function of county government or health and safety or welfare of its residents. The county administrator or purchasing director may authorize any procurement if it is above the formal threshold set by the Code of Public Law, local law. However, this procurement must be brought to the Board of County Commissioners for approval at the next available meeting. There is funding for this repair in the department's operating budget.
So basically, catastrophic failure, they didn't have hot water, you had to move. So it seems like there had to be a lot of water damage. Where did that money come from? That's been repaired, I guess?
No, sir, that repair has not been made. We are gonna make those repairs under the renovation that will be coming soon for the female housing area. We chose not to make those repairs at this point, and spend the money twice. We just didn't think that was fiscally responsible. So we're gonna make those repairs with that renovation that's soon coming.
That renovation, is that being mandated by the state for some of that upgrades out there?
I can't honestly speak to that and give you a true answer.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I have a question. It says here that there's no allowance for roof flashing or patching. Is that anticipated, or?
It's not.
Okay.
No, there's already, actually, 7 years ago, we installed new flues, so those will be used again.
Okay.
We won't have to change them.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item under tab 17, bid renewal, PUR 1690, sludge hauling.
Popular topic, sludge hauling.
Fun topic.
Karen Bigner, buyer in the Office of Procurement.
David Mason, Interim Director of Environmental Management.
The first recommendation we have is bid renewal PUR 1690. Move to renew the contract for sludge hauling services for the Division of Environmental Management with AC&T Incorporated of Hagerstown, Maryland, based on its letter dated June 1st, 2026, requesting a 5% increase for fiscal year 2027 based on the Consumer Price Index for water and sewerage maintenance. The vendor has requested an increase based on increases in fuel costs, insurance costs, and wages. On August 13th, 2024, the board originally awarded a contract for the subject services to AC&T Incorporated in the total annual amount of $133,050 based on estimated quantities. The term of the contract is for a one-year period that commenced on September 1st, 2024, with an option by the county to renew for up to 2 additional consecutive one-year periods. This is the second and final of 2 one-year optional renewals of the contract. The county reserves the right to accept or reject any request for renewal by the bidder and any increase in unit costs for each specified location. Funds have been approved for fiscal year 2027 in the department's operating budget for these services.
Move to renew.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for renewal as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 18, bid renewal PUR 1742, electronics recycling.
Karen Bacon, buyer, Office of Procurement.
Dave Mason, Interim Director of Environmental Management.
The second recommendation we have is bid renewal PUR 1742. Move to renew the contract for electronics recycling with EACR Incorporated of Lakewood, New Jersey, based on its letter dated May 20th, 2026, requesting an increase for fiscal year 2027 as outlined below. The vendor is requesting the increase due to increases in diesel fuel and supply costs. On June 3rd, 2025, the board originally awarded a contract for the subject services to EACR Incorporated at the prices listed above for fiscal year 2026. The term of the contract is for a one-year period that commenced on August 1st, 2025, with an option by the county to renew for up to 2 additional consecutive one-year periods. This is the first of 2 one-year optional renewals of the contract. The county reserves the right to accept or reject any request for renewal by the bidder and any increase in unit costs. All other terms and conditions shall remain unchanged. Funds have been approved in the FY27 operating budget for these services.
On the last one, it was a 5% increase. This is quite a bit more than 5%, and it's the same year. Is there a reason for that?
So these increases are still in line with the next couple bidders from the original solicitation. So their original bid was significantly lower, and now they're.
Well, that's why they won the contract, so, but we shouldn't, like, the next year, give them like 10% increase just because they bid low. Can we go back to them and say, can they do just a 5% increase instead of what they're showing here?
We could ask, yeah.
I'd make a motion that we just make it a 5% increase instead of what they're proposing. Like, if you look at item number 3, that's a 40% increase. How is that even reasonable?
Where's that at? Say that again.
So if you look on the tab for 18.
Right.
Item number 3, it goes from 685 to 1,075. It's like a 40% increase.
And I will tell you that from the original bid tab, from the original solicitation, the next bidders were $1,000, $1,050, $1,760 for that cost, or for that line item. So that's why I say they're still in line with what other vendors bid originally.
Yeah, but when we bid this contract last year, we saved over $250,000 a year from the previous contract, so.
If we send that back, do we have to open up for bid again for those others to get that same opportunity?
If we go back to the vendor and ask them for a reduction, they could say no.
But.
And then they could say that they don't want to continue the contract, and then we would have to rebid.
It's a negotiation.
We don't negotiate.
Okay, so we're asking for a 5% increase is what my motion is. I mean, if you guys are comfortable with the 10%, we could do that, but I don't think 40% is reasonable.
And just as comparison too, for line item number 1, the next closest bidder was 35 cents, and they're only asking to increase to 15 cents. And line number 2, they're still in line with, even with their increase to 15 cents, they're still in line with the other bidders.
We could go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and see if they're in the realm of what they should be asking for an increase. That is where we usually check our increases. And I'm sure Karen did go back and look and see what the other bidders had bid. And as they said, we saved a substantial amount last year we awarded. right now, we've had a lot of requests come in. They don't know what every other vendor is asking, so we don't compare the percentages for each request. But we could take a look at the Bureau of Labor statistics and see what the average ask is right now and compare it to that.
The average ask of an increase.
Yeah, because under a 1-year service, under the Labor Bureau statistics, it'll show you what the average increase in that price was for this time period.
I'd be fine with that. And then take a look at it again.
Is there an urgency here today?
The contract expires August 1st. We have a little bit of time, but we just may have to make sure we come back this, there's only 2 meetings, I believe, in July, so we have to make sure we get back to August 1st.
Yeah, I would say probably for me is if we got time, just check it and see if we,
Consensus is to,
Yeah, how long would it take you thinking it back? Because 2 meetings in July.
Right, I think the 21st would be the first opportunity to bring it back to you. So as long as they're responsive and get back to us rather quickly, I can try to get back on the 21st.
is that acceptable to everyone? Let staff do some homework here and bring it back on the 21st.
Okay, so we'll move this to the to the July 21st meeting.
What's our 2 meeting dates in July again?
In front of me.
21st and 28th.
Okay.
Okay, we good with that?
Okay, we'll move that one to the 21st of July.
Okay. Next item under tab 19, intergovernmental cooperative purchase 26-0335, roof replacement at Water Quality Pump Shop.
Karen Bakener, buyer in the Office of Procurement.
Dave Basie, Interim Director, Environmental Management.
The third recommendation we have is intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG-26-0335. Move to authorize by resolution the approval of the purchase of a roof replacement at the Water Quality Pump Shop from Lobar Associates Incorporated of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, at the contracted pricing totaling $99,023.51, based on the indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity construction contract in the state of Maryland, awarded by Sourcewell Contract Number MD-R2-RW-030425-LOB. This was a competitively bid contract that was awarded to 3 vendors for roofing services in Region 2 in the state of Maryland, which includes Washington and Frederick counties. We reached out to all 3 awarded vendors for quotes and received 2, with Lobar being the lowest quote. This purchase is for the planned replacement of the roof on the pump shop for the Water Quality Department. The current roof has been leaking and in need of repair for quite some time. Prolonging the repair of this roof will lead to other problems within the structure. The Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County, Maryland, 1-106.3, provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another governmental entity in accordance with the terms of the contract, regardless of whether the county was a party to the original contract. The county will benefit with direct cost savings in the purchase of this service because of the economies of scale this contract has leveraged. Funding is available in the department's CIP BLD 073 General Building Improvements.
motion to approve.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 20 is the bid award, PUR 1807, grounds maintenance chemicals for.
Mayor in the Office of Procurement.
Brian Bowers, Assistant Superintendent, Black Rock Golf Course.
The fourth recommendation we have is bid award PUR 1807. Move to award the contract to the responsible companies with the lowest bids that meet the specifications for each chemical item as indicated on the bid tabulation summary. Tie bids were received for item numbers 2, 10, 12, 15, and 24. Therefore, it is required that the chemicals be awarded based on drawing lots in public pursuant to Section 2.9 of the Washington County Procurement Policy Manual, which states that the board shall award the contract to one of the bidders by drawing lots in public. The county accepted bids on May 20th, 2026. The invitation to bid was advertised on UNA, the county's online bidding website, and on the State of Maryland's eMaryland Marketplace Advantage website. 9 persons or companies viewed the bid document online. 7 bids were received. This contract provides the chemicals needed for the Black Rock Golf Course, County Highway Department, and Department of Water Quality. The city of Hagerstown may also utilize this contract. The contract term is 1 year, tentatively commencing July 1st, 2026, and ending June 30th, 2027. Funds are budgeted for chemicals in various operating accounts. And may I?
Sure.
I'm upset. I think I have one for every single one of you. this time.
You might as well start with me.
I'm gonna start with you. All right, I'll have you come out of the bag here, so. This is number 24, Signature Extra Stress Guard.
That's just up my alley, stress garden.
All right, so number 24 is Landscape Supply LLC.
Do I need a blindfold? You can't see anyway.
This is item number 2, Enclave.
Is that a drum roll? Whoops, I got 2, I gotta put one back in.
Oh,
Give me
do you
the.
have 2?
Yeah, I'm not gonna look. No, don't.
Oh, no, you
There you
don't.
go.
Okay. Magic trick. Number 2 is Pocono Turf Supply Company Incorporated.
Take my glasses off, that way I can't cheat. I can't see anyway.
I know, I have to take my glasses off to read something. Item number 10 is Accelaprin.
These are stuck together.
I know, sorry about that. Okay. And this one is item number 10, Pocono Turf Supply Company Incorporated.
I'd like that drum roll.
This one is item number 12, Headway. Yeah, just. All right.
That stuff's
Item number
expensive.
12 is Landscape Supply
$550 a gallon. Must be powerful stuff.
And this is item number 15, PCNB. Item number 15 is Site One
I'm
Landscape.
all right, okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, guys.
Protein, 90. Getting to it.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Okay. We need a motion for approval.
Second.
Ready to vote, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under tab number 21, Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase 26-0332, Dell Hardware Equipment.
We have is intergovernmental by resolution, the approval of the purchase for the replacement of outdated hardware for several county departments from Dell Technologies of Round Rock, Texas, at the contracted pricing totaling $157,658.47, based on the contract awarded by Omnia National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, contract number 01-143. This purchase is for the planned replacement of obsolete computer hardware currently in use across county departments. The Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County, Maryland, 1-106.3 provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another governmental entity in accordance with the terms of the contract, regardless of whether the county was a party to the original contract. The county will benefit with direct cost savings in the purchase of this hardware because of the economies of scale this contract has leveraged, and funding is available in the department's CIP COM 011 Information Systems Replacement Program.
Question. How old are the computers that we're replacing?
Generally between 5 to 7 years.
And I guess those are probably running on Windows 10.
We don't have any Windows 10 machines left in operation. Support for that's been largely discontinued by Microsoft, so nearly everything should be running Windows 11 on the client side at this point. But the computers still age and cost of repairing them goes up.
Got it. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 22, approval to apply for and accept state grant funds for the design of a replacement air traffic control tower.
Good morning, Commissioners. Maria Kramer, Director of the Office of Grant Management.
Andrew Ashwin, Director of Public Works.
Neil Doran, Airport Director. So we come before you to speak to the $1.5 million Maryland capital grant that was previously approved. What we're seeking today is permission for the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign the state grant application, a lobbying affidavit, and related paperwork. And then this would allow county staff to thereafter submit these materials. I think the board's well familiar with this project, and this will go to completing the design processes. We're at the 30% stage, this will get us to 100%. Related engineering, planning, architectural tasks, and if there's any residual funds, we can use them in the future for non-construction engineering services like construction admin, management inspection services, or even capital equipment within the tower after it's built. We will be seeking subsequent state grants so that we can get to the construction phase. We think we could start this process soon, maybe as soon as August we could return, or perhaps next month, and we could return with specific task orders that would get that 12-month process started.
Motion to approve.
I was just going to say, in order to submit the paperwork for the grant intake, the first thing that will come in front of you is to sign what's called a lobbying affidavit, which is the last piece that needs to be loaded up for us to put the grant in motion. Then we'll get a grant agreement and other items for you to sign subsequently after that.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to submit and accept the grant. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Next item under tab 23, Transportation Security Administration Law Enforcement Officer Reimbursement Program.
Andrew Ashwin, Director of Public Works.
Neil Doran, Airport Director. So we have a compliance measure where the airport provides for law enforcement officer coverage at the airport during security screening operations and airline flights. And so we do this in partnership with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Airport currently incurs more than $100,000 a year in expense to provide this service in support of the flights. And so in the past, TSA had a partial reimbursement program that we took advantage of. It went away, and now it's back again. So what we're hoping to do is to put in for this, and it would allow us to ask for reimbursement up to $25 towards our expenses. So we think, given our flight volume, this might provide about $30,000 of offsetting revenue towards our costs. So what we're seeking today is just a motion so that we could approve the application and accept the funding from the Transportation Security Administration under their law enforcement officer reimbursement program.
Will this affect the ticket prices at all for people using the airport?
No.
No, okay, great, thanks.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Ready to vote, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under tab 24, contract award, Facilities Design Services, PUR 1783, Public Service Training Center, Tactical Village Buildings.
Good morning, Scott Hobbs, Director of Engineering.
Good morning, Kevin Lewis, Division Emergency Services.
We're here to recommend the board award the architectural design services contracts from PUR 1783, Facility Design Services for the Public Safety Training Center, Tactical Village Buildings, Phase 2 project to the responsible proposer, LS Grimm Consulting Engineers of Hagerstown, Maryland, with the lowest fee of $185,281.12 for building number 1, $86,762.96 for building number 2, $87,028.48 for building number 3, $177,551.22 for building number 4, $78,233.48 for building number 6, and $75,413.48 for building number 7, as well as a contract to the responsible proposer, Norkel and Hall Associates of Frederick, Maryland, with a lowest fee of $219,730 for building number 5, all as identified on the bids result sheets. The work involves architectural and design services for 7 training buildings for police, fire, and emergency services personnel working in the Tactical Village of the Public Safety Training Center, located at 18350 Public Safety Place. The request for proposal was issued under the Facilities Design Contract, PR 1783, and 2 proposals were received. The project involves the design of a high bay training building, a control building pavilion, an instructional training building, commercial storefront simulation building, apparatus storage firehouse simulation building, vehicle instructional building, and a canine training building. Design services will start in July with an anticipated completion date in early 2027 so that construction can begin in the spring, summer of 2027. Construction of these buildings is expected to take approximately 1 to 2 years to complete. The total expenses are estimated at $1,010,000, including $910,000 for the architectural design services and $100,000 for design contingency. This is a budgeted capital improvement plan project, Public Safety Training Center, Tactical Village Simulation Training Area, LDI 063. Any questions?
So this isn't for construction, this is just for design?
Design service, correct.
And is this part of the original plan for that site?
Yes. In the capital improvement plan under LDI 063, we lay out the buildings involved, and Kevin can go more into some of the usage in the future after these are designed.
Right, as the site work is being completed, each one of the structures has some degree of simulation design for specific purposes. So for example, I think like the one vendor was the simulated fire station facility and things like that in apparatus storage. So that's a place to give us apparatus storage of both apparatus engine, apparatus truck, tower, whatever, medic unit, and all the law enforcement vehicles that are currently being stored on site outside. Then in turn, as you look at the other structures, the high bay facility, the year-round training facility that allows us to do multi-level training in different disciplines throughout the entire calendar year. So it doesn't stop us from training throughout the winter months or the severe summer months, like similar to now, the high heat indexes. So, and then like the K-9 facility, the driver's driving facility and stuff like that, classroom associated with the driving pad and so forth. So that is, in theory, the 7 design structures that are be part of the complete Tactical Village package.
Very good. And will other counties be able to utilize this facility as well?
Yeah, because as currently, we continue, obviously now, even, as we continue working with the University of Maryland College Park for the Western Maryland regions of Frederick, Allegheny, and Garrett, through the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute, or other counties or departments as well, as we're currently go to their sites to utilize off-site training, they'll have the ability to come to ours as well, and it gives the, per se, student or participant different unique facilities to practice their skill sets.
And I guess like when we go to other places now, we probably pay some kind of a fee, and I'm guessing we charge a fee when they come to us?
Currently, we don't pay any necessarily fees, but what we do have to pay for is, in theory, what we provide in the support instruction costs or any of the soft costs. So if we're going to Frederick, we'll pay for the Excelsiors, or we'll pay for those items that are utilized during the training evolution. But currently, we pay nothing to go to other sites now, regionally or local.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I have one. Scott, real quick, previously we had considered a shooting range at that location, and that's been eliminated, is that correct?
I think they're still looking at future options.
Okay, where would that be located when I'm looking at this on the tactical village?
Currently, when it was originally planned in the master plan, it was, when you're looking at the front door of the building, it was to the left side.
Okay.
To the south. And so, again, I think there's more conversations with the sheriff, Brian.
I understand. I was just curious.
About what it would be in the future for a location or a indoor or an outdoor facility.
Understand, okay.
But for now, the 7 buildings are all ones I listed, do not include that
Okay, thank you.
design.
Thanks very much.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under tab 25, Fort Ritchie Sewer Line Easement.
Good morning, Todd Moser, Real Property Administrator.
Dave Mason, Interim Director, Environmental Management.
Move to approve the perpetual sewer line easement and authorize the execution of the necessary documentation to finalize the transfer. County has finalized field work and documents to accept the Fort Ritchie sewer line easement. The transfer of the sewer lines will make the sewer upgrade eligible for the the Appalachian Regional Commission ARC funding. Any questions?
Yeah, I guess didn't ARC just make their decisions for this year recently, so this is probably not eligible until next year, is that right?
ARC has already denied this application. However, it would be wise for us to correct the ownership of the easement so that future grant opportunities are not missed. They denied it because right now the infrastructure is not in the county's name. So whether ARC or some other grant funding becomes available, it's important for this to be in the county's name.
And I understand this is part of the agreement that we have.
Correct. We're contractually obligated to repair this infrastructure, and it makes sense for it to be in our name while we're repairing it.
And would that be typical once we're finished with the repair that we would own it? That was the intent, wasn't it?
The original MOU indicates that once the repair is done, we would own it, but to me, I feel like it was an oversight, and it really should have been brought over into our name at the time of the original MOU, or the amended MOU.
And has there been any movement yet, like regarding the bonds for the roadway from the developer?
Well, that's a separate project. I can get that information for you and come back to you with that, and email you with that information.
I guess I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm open in my brain here, but if we're going to take over the sewer, I'd like to see them also making forward progress on their side, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a separate project. I can get that information for you to determine whether or not they've moved forward with the bond for that application. We do have a representative here. He may be able to answer that now. We are not contractually obligated to repair the roads, and we will not take possession of the roads until they have been repaired to our standards.
Got it.
And just, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to do the roads first. We need to get in there and get the sewer fixed, because we will be tearing up portions of the road in order to repair the sewers and manholes in the area.
Oh, I agree with that. We want to make sure this is done first
Yes,
and that.
this will be done first, and then they should come in afterwards and repair the roads.
But I guess my question was with the bond, because they're supposed to bond their part of it. So I'm wondering what the progress is with that.
Yeah, I don't have that information.
We can get that information for you.
Okay, thank you.
The road, not the sewer?
It's a separate project.
So would they have applied for the bond with the sewer not being done first? They gotta get the sewer first, correct?
Sewer needs to be done first, yes.
They may not have been able to even apply for the bonds now because the road's going to be torn up when we do the sewer infrastructure. That's going to take probably 6 to 9 months to do.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 26, US 40 Bridge over Connicajig Creek, County Road Impact Reimbursement.
Andrew Eschelman, Director of Public Works.
Scott Hobbs, Director of Engineering.
What we have before you is a draft letter and seeking a motion to send that draft letter to the Maryland Department of Transportation requesting reimbursement for county road impacts resulting from the closure and detour associated with the US 40 bridge over Connicajig Creek. As many of you know, the Maryland State Highway Administration is rehabilitating the US 40 bridge over Connicajig Creek. And they're doing this under a full road closure. To facilitate the historic 1935 bridge rehabilitation, they implemented this full closure and started the project last summer, June of 2025. Latest indications are that the bridge would be open to traffic in late August 26, but they would continue to have remaining project work continuing through summer of 27. Although the official detour route uses state highway roads, Washington County has documented increased traffic volumes, accelerated pavement deterioration, and maintenance impacts on county roads serving as what we'll call alternate detour routes. As a result, the county is requesting reimbursement for documented roadway impacts associated with this project. So the letter outlines some of the roadway improvements and activities that the county has undertaken in preparation for this project, as well as during this ongoing closure. Also, the county has collected traffic counts before as well as during the closure and documented increases in traffic volumes on several of our county roads. What we've found, and we can go into further detail should you desire, there's about a 15 to 20% margin where the motorists that we think, were using US 40 are now diverting onto county roads rather than a posted state detour, and this activity has accelerated the deterioration. So as far as the methodology, what we've settled on, and Scott can go into more detail, is looking at essentially, because it's a road closure, people are driving further than they would ordinarily on a detour route, and then looking at that percent that is traveling on county roads versus the posted state routes. And so if you're traveling further out of your way because of a detour, the state is collecting additional gas tax revenue because of that from the citizens. And so essentially we're just asking the question of, can the county receive a portion of that additional income collected back on our side to help pay for this effort in maintaining our roads, again, in partnership with the state. So there's some methodology outlined in the letter. I will say what was you, Scott, can talk about. It's a method that other states have looked at. This is not something that the state of Maryland has adopted, but I think simply we want to ask the question and try to advocate for what we can for the county.
Yeah, typically with road user costs, it's about when a project is scheduled to be completed and how many days beyond that date, and then some costs are tracked that way. With this case being that they look to be on schedule, they've shared with everyone about being on track to open the bridge before school starts. We looked at different options, and one of them we came across with a couple of different states have this option of this gas tax factor that seems to work, and it follows the amount of vehicles, the detour miles, and the time involved. So as we researched that, we thought that was the most applicable to this. request, along with the work that was done by the Highway Department and then contracted services to fix the roads over the time period.
So I think it's important noting we've laid out, some of the direct costs that the county has put in, which, to be fair, some of those were planned anyway. So we're not trying to claim, full reimbursement for pavement work, but trying to capture a portion of that deterioration. So, we've, I think, more than exceeded the amount that we're requesting for potential reimbursement. But again, just full disclosure, this is not kind of an acceptable method to say that counties have this opportunity, but we want to recognize the impacts that we have had to our roads and just ask the question.
I also want to add that our Highways Department has been extremely proactive when faced with extreme weather events. They've gone out and placed extra crews. They've done some additional salting in anticipation of either I-70 and or I-81 being closed, in a weather accident to all of that diverted traffic going onto our county roads. We have also met with officials from MDOT at our annual MACO conference. We've met with officials during our CTP tour, which is done in the fall every year and numerous other times, to let them know that we have experienced exorbitant additional costs as a result of this full road closure. So we've had numerous conversations with them, and now that they're coming to the end of the contract, it's time for us to present them with our formal ask.
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you for putting the letter together. I think it's important that we try and recoup the costs that we put forward, really because of this closure. And it's funny you mentioned the alternate routes. My understanding is that people save considerable amount of time by not taking the state route, but by taking the county route. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot's going to depend on their origin and destination, because the way the state route is posted, it's almost like you're a through traveler. And so that may not be realistic. If you're someone that needs to get from one side of the creek to the other, you're going to take the local roads, because that's the shorter distance. And that's what we've tried to capture with the traffic counts the best we can. Again, there's some interpretive analysis done, but that's what the information.
Right, travel from the north and travel to the south of Hagerstown really was affected. Coming in and out of the city, right, you have a more direct route, but we see a lot of different citizens across the county traveling Broad Fording Road and Kemps Mill because they either live to the south or to the north.
Yeah, thank you. And what was the approximate cost of the state project to rebuild that bridge? Do you have any idea?
I do not have that final total. I know they're keeping an up-to-date project webpage for that. I can't remember misquoting. I mean, it's a double-digit $1 million project. I don't have the exact figure for you.
Right, so even if it's only 10 million, double digit.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, but yes.
This is a small fraction of the total cost of their project. I think it makes sense that they would reimburse the county for this work that we're doing.
The county did an excellent job accommodating the state with the detours, with the road repairs prior to the start of the project. As County Administrator mentioned, extra care we took worried about winter weather, having second crews up there to expedite traffic. And then when there was accidents on 81 or 70, it destroyed the small communities of Williamsport and coming in from Pinesburg. So I think I want to commend you for gathering all this data from before the project started up to this date, because I think we do deserve some reimbursement for the way we handled this detour.
Thank you. And I'll say, while we're here presenting, as you mentioned, there's a lot more people that had to do a lot more work behind the scenes to do that pavement preparation work, to respond to the storms, put up additional signage. So that's not Scott and I. There's a whole team full of people behind that had to be responsive.
They appear to be on time for the August opening, but there's additional construction. Is that creek access work surrounding or beneath the bridge? You're not sure?
My understanding is they're finishing the deck pours and the parapet work, but there'll be some additional work under lane closures, potentially final paving. There's also substructure work, and another final nice touch. We did advocate and work with the state to improve the creek access there, so they will be doing some improvements for the boat launch there as part of the project. So there's those types of things that are on the tail end of the project scope that don't directly relate to the traffic.
Thank you.
A motion to approve to send that.
Second.
Motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under tab 27, Washington County Community Reinvestment and Repair Funding Recommendations.
Good afternoon now, Commissioners. Maria Kramer, Director of the Office of Grant Management.
And I'm Allison Hartshorn, opioid restitution manager, also from the Office of Grant Management. I guess this afternoon, we're here to seek approval of the Community Reinvestment and Repair Fund. Grant awards totaling $226,313 as recommended by staff for community-based initiatives serving zip code 21740, subject to the execution of grant agreements consisting with program requirements. In 2022, Maryland voters approved the I can't talk this afternoon. The adult use recreation cannabis as part of the portion of the cannabis sales tax revenue is directed to the Community Reinvestment Repair Fund. The purpose of this fund is to reinvest into communities that were impacted by the enforcement of cannabis prohibition prior to July 2022.
Okay, so as you will recall, on 4/28, Alice and I came in front of the Board of County Commissioners to present the community input that we were required as part of the resolution and the cannabis law before we were able to disperse any of the cannabis funds. We also presented the community plan at that time, which was adopted by the county commissioners. Part of that plan we did with the community input is it was segmented into 3 separate prior and majority areas. One of them was the health and wellness. The second was community and quality of life. And the third area was economic opportunity and youth. We have released our first NOFA. It was related in the priority area of economic and youth to the community for our first disbursement of the funds.
So as Maria just said, so following the presentation that was mentioned, the Office of Grant Management released the NOFA for economic and youth categories, which were selected for the initial funding cycle. The office received 13 applications requesting $543,326. Staff evaluated the applications based on published criteria and available funding and developed the attached funding recommendations for the board's consideration. So included were our award amounts and the program names and the organizations for you all to review and to approve.
Hey, Zach, my wife sits on the board of directors for Girls Inc. Is that a reason for concern?
I think it would be a smart reason to abstain from voting for that.
So I can abstain?
Yes.
Okay. I will.
Zach, likewise, I'm on Salvation Army Board.
Likewise, I think that would be a smart reason to abstain.
What board are you on, Jeff?
I went to the Boys and Girls Club in 1959.
Great.
Maria, there's no threshold like we need 80% of the commissioner's approval. It's just a simple majority of.
It is a simple majority, and as you'll also recall, that the funding is specific to the community reinvestment and repair funds. There isn't another way to spend it. We just wanted, as we discussed in part of the community plan, that each subsequent disbursement would come in front of you, that we would be transparent about the organizations, and we'll be releasing NOFAs regularly for this funding. This is just our first one, and we're actually really excited about it because there's some really good things that are happening in the community, and this funding provides an excellent gap to some of the other opportunities that are available through the different funding streams like the gaming and the COF, but this is just particular to the 21740 zip code, which was adversely affected by the cannabis the arrest of cannabis prior to 19, that'd be long ago. That was when you were going to the Boys and Girls Club. 2022, I'm sorry.
All right,
So-
motion to approve is.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained?
3-0-2.
3-2. Two abstentions. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item under tab 28, hotel rental tax funding request, Miss Marilyn Pageant lease agreement.
Wow, I'm like a bad penny turning up again. Maria Kramer, Director of the Office of Grant Management.
Bailey Kirchville, Executive Director for the Maryland Theater.
Today, Bailey and I are here to move to approve the request for renewal of the 5-year lease agreement between the Maryland Theater Association, the Carroll County Foundation Incorporated, and the county to sponsor the Miss Maryland pageant. The Maryland Theater has submitted a request for hotel rental tax funding in the amount of $18,000 per year for a 5-year time period. The funding would be to support the Miss Maryland pageant through a 5-year lease between the theater, the Community Foundation of Carroll County, and the county. The lease agreement obligates the county to a maximum of $18,000 annually for 5 years. We are currently in the 5th year of the previous 5-year lease.
The previous 5-year lease committed the county to $16,000 annually for each of those 5 years.
That is correct.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Bailey. Nice event, the mayor's luncheon on Friday, yes.
Have a great day, everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Next item under tab 29, Governor's Office for Children Grant Funding.
Good afternoon. Richard Lesh, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management. And I'm here to request a motion to approve to apply for and accept the funding as awarded in the amount of $74,581 for the fiscal year 2027 capacity building proposal to the Governor's Office for Children. In addition, seeking approval to accept additional funding added to the community partnership agreement in the same amount as previously stated, $74,581. Two separate funding allocations are anticipated to be awarded by the Governor's Office for Children as part of the fiscal year 2027 Enough Act and the Community Partnership Agreement. Washington County Office of Grant Management, on behalf and at the direction of the local management board, requests the approval to submit a capacity grant proposal and the Governor's Office for Children for fiscal year 2027 and accept the additional funding added to the fiscal year 2027 Community Partnership Agreement. To clarify, I will read the email that was sent on June 15th. And the Governor's Office for Children is reissuing the fiscal year 2027 Children's Cabinet Interagency Fund Notice of Funding Availability. This update reflects the inclusion of an additional $2 million allocated during the 2026 legislative session and the consolidation of the $2 million allocated for the Enough Capacity Building Notice of Funding Opportunity into a single streamlined submission process. So I'm here because they combined the two grants into one, and we are resubmitting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 30 has been removed, so we'll move on to tab number 31, Investment Policy Update and Maryland Local Government Investment Pool Account Authorization.
Good afternoon. Kim Edlin, Director of Budget and Finance.
Zane Garrett, Deputy Director, Budget and Finance.
We're here today to seek approval for the updated investment policy for the general operating cash. The investment policies for the pension plan, LoSAP, and OPEB are separate documents and will not be affected. We are also requesting approval for a resolution to allow the county to invest in the Maryland Local Government Investment Pool, which I'll refer to as MLGIP, and a resolution to amend the investment policy to allow investing in the MLGIP. Just to give you a little background on this, the updating of the policy started because the airport began collecting passenger facility fees, and the FFA requires these fees to be deposited in separate interest-bearing accounts. We discussed this requirement with personnel from Salisbury Regional Airport, and they told us that they used MLGIP to meet these requirements. After some research, we agreed that this is the best option for depositing these passenger facility fees. We're also considering moving some general operating funds to the MLGIP to maximize yield and diversify between institutions. Our current investment policy does not specify that the county may deposit money into this institution, so the policy has to be updated to include the MLGIP as an authorized investment pool. There are other changes being proposed to the policy that updates the language, adds commercial paper as an allowable investment, and updates the maximum portfolio percentages based on state law. The Maryland Local Government Investment Pool provides all local government units of the state a safe investment vehicle for the short-term investments of funds. The state legislature created the MLGIP in 1977. It is rated AAA by Standard & Poor's, which is their highest rating. It's under the administrative control of the state treasurer and is managed by the PNC Capital Advisors. Currently, there are 262 Maryland entities invested in the pool. And just a note, there's one small change needed in the policy that's in your packet. On page 6, it states commercial paper must receive the highest letter and numerical rating by at least one nationally recognized rating organization. That should be 2. Any questions?
Okay. Any comments, questions?
No.
Concerns? No. Motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Next item under tab 32, FY26 budget amendment, tax revenue.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Chief Financial Officer. Staff is requesting the approval to amend income tax and recordation tax revenue budgets based on year-to-date trends by $13 million total. Additionally, staff is requesting to use those funds for the following purposes: $5 million for an additional contribution to pension, $1 million for land preservation, $1 million for ambulances that were approved earlier in this session, and $6 million to accumulate funds for the new courthouse. Also included in this budget amendment are insurance funds of $29,470 for the water damage in the county administration building, and a reallocation of some electric budgets between building departments based on actual experience. The total fiscal impact of this budget adjustment is $13,029,470.
I had a question. Could some of this money go towards paying down the debt that the county has? And what's our interest rate on that debt?
So right now, the interest rate on our general obligation bonded debt is between 2% and 4%. Right now, the issue that we have is that when a government has extra revenue, most financially sound move is to prioritize paying down pension debt, not general obligation bonds. General obligation bonds are subject to certain legal restrictions, and they must be callable bonds in order to be to make a payment, a lump sum payment like that. Because prematurely retiring bonded debt requires strict adherence to legal and financial contracts, we must also consult with our bond counsel in order to do that. They are also subject to make whole payments, which is a lump sum payment that a borrower must make to a lender to compensate for any lost future interest revenue. We do have 4 bonds right now that are callable. Those have interest rates between 2% and 4%. They're also subject to yield restrictions. Right now, those 4 bonds have yield restrictions of 2.11% to 2.47%. And what a yield restriction does is it says that if we were today to say that we were going to obligate money to make a lump sum payment on one of those bonds, we would not be able to earn interest above the yield restriction, which is between 2.11 and 2.47%. However, we're currently earning interest a little over 3%. Our pension debt right now has a rate of return on our investment of 7.25%.
How much was that?
7.25%. So if we were to make a payment on our bonded debt to reduce our interest expense of 2 to 4% and not earn that 7.25% on reducing our unfunded pension liability, we would actually lose money for the taxpayers of $80,000 to $100,000.
So basically, in plain language, the way I understand it, you don't pay off something at 2% when you're earning 7% on your money.
Correct.
Kelsey, I'm sorry.
I was just going to add that, you know, when paying down our unfunded pension liability, right now we're at about an 89% funded status, so we still have to get to that 100% funded ratio, which is about $63 million. Rating agencies like Moody's and Standard & Poor's heavily scrutinize unfunded pension liabilities, so reducing this long-term liability helps to stabilize or improve our county's credit rating, and it lowers our borrowing costs for future infrastructure projects.
Kelsey, how much will this $5 million placed against our pension fund improve our funding?
So you said 63 million?
Correct.
So that 5 would maybe do between, what, about 1%?
1 to 2%.
Okay, all right.
And what
It's-
if we-
It's in my DNA to reduce our debt, but after the conversations that we've had, this certainly makes sense to put this $5 million towards the pension.
This is still our debt. Our pension liability is still considered part of our debt.
Our pension, we're paying down debt by contributing to the pension, right?
Correct.
That's paying
Correct.
down the pension debt, so we're still paying down debt.
Correct.
But we're benefiting with 7% interest versus the other possibility.
Right. So the 80 to 100,000 that I calculated was the difference between 7.25% and then the interest that we're actually paying, interest expense that we're paying. So we would lose that interest revenue of 80 to 100,000.
This is smart money. Yep.
Yep.
Would it be possible,
Oh, no, okay.
sure, thanks. Would it be possible to do the whole $13 million towards the pension debt?
I do, with one caveat before she answers, I do need that 1 million for the ambulances that were approved for purchase in one of the earlier items in this meeting.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'll let you discuss.
Well, I would keep the 1 million to land preservation, because you heard Chris Boggs earlier, the more we participate, the larger our cut for land preservation. And you heard the citizens today talking about we're exploiting with warehouses up, but that land preservation program, I think it was 290-some homes, we bought the rights for people to preserve our farmland, so that one would be important.
I do want to point out that the county's fund balance and reserve policy specifically states that the intent of the county is to allocate annual surpluses to accomplish 3 goals. One is to meet reserve requirements for the upcoming year. We don't have that issue this year. We've already taken care of that. Number 2 is to provide for pay-go cash payments for capital improvement projects. So that takes priority over paying down debt, and we're including $6 million for a potential future courthouse project, $1 million for ambulance projects. So those take priority over paying down debt.
Well, the courthouse hasn't been necessarily agreed to yet. I mean, we don't even have a plan, right?
Because we don't have $100 million.
125.
So this would, starting to build up money in the cash reserves for this potential project means that in the future, we will not need to issue general obligation debt for this project at an interest rate of somewhere between 4% and 5%. That's where we're at right now.
But if we pay the pension debt, we're going to be getting 7.25%, which is better than the 5% that you just said.
Well, we need to have a plan in place to pay down our pension debt over a period of years. It doesn't make sense to pay it all off in 1 year. We need to make sure that we are providing for our capital plan and in providing a well-balanced allocation out of any potential excesses that we have from revenues over expenditures. This provides for a well-balanced allocation of the excess that we're anticipating.
Yeah, when I came in 8 years ago, it was like 50-some%. Now it's 80-some%. That's pretty good progress.
And as far as land preservation, I also want to point out that regional land preservation does provide for and help curb aggressive suburban sprawl from Maryland, in Maryland, from the Baltimore and DC corridors here to Washington County. And Maryland does operate a very robust program, which we heard about one today, which is the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation. We've also seen our program Open Space in prior meetings. Both of those programs utilize public funds and conservation easements to secure the region's agricultural heritage and protect the sensitive Chesapeake Bay watershed. Land preservation also protects our natural ecosystems. It safeguards drinking water and supports our local economies by maintaining vital agricultural and recreational spaces.
I'm personally okay with these suggestions. So I'm okay with them.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed, explain my vote.
4-1.
Chris Boggs, get to work on that land preservation if you're listening.
I see that we have a $13 million surplus from the general fund budget. I think that we should try and get that closer. Every year it seems like we have over a $10 million surplus, and I'd like to see that we have the lower taxes, try and make it more accurate than having so much surplus. Also, I'd prefer to send this money towards either paying the debt or paying down the pension, which on our discussion, it makes sense to pay more of the pension. So I know we're doing $5 million, but I would have done almost the whole thing probably towards the pension, but I understand the commissioners appreciate it.
I just want to point out that our annual budget is over $500 million right now, and government financial officers' standard practice for that variance should be less than 5%. We are less than 5%. $10 million is way less than 5% of $500 million. So we're well within industry norms as far as predicting our revenues and expenditures and the potential excess at the end of the year. We're well under those norms.
An enormous amount of that money was from investment, right?
Correct. We had enormous investment returns in the last 2 years due to high interest rates. Those were unprecedented returns actually last year and the year before.
Okay. Next item under tab 33, pension document, recommended changes.
Can I bring up that pop-up that can be done or something Sam's telling me?
It has to what?
Go through Bolton, our actuary, to review.
I mean, we talked about it last night.
Yeah, but can I bring it up that?
That we should discuss it more?
In future, yeah, that's all. We don't want to add it, just we're going to discuss it.
Okay. Brent?
Good afternoon, Chip Rose, Director of Human Resources.
Brittany Price, Retirement Coordinator, Human Resources.
Brittany and I are here to walk you through 3 changes to the official plan document for the pension plan. It's interesting you guys were talking about the pension plan so much just before. These are relatively mild changes, but I do want to walk through them with you. The first one is the plan document itself describes the potential to form a retirement advisory committee, or an RAC, that could recommend changes to the plan following the retirement committee's review and approval. The retirement committee has preferred to assume that role for themselves and would prefer to abolish that RAC. Just need your agreement to do that. Do we read these 3 and then kind of go back?
Yeah, so the first item that is being recommended for.
You want to do these independently?
Yeah, I think you should do them independently.
Yeah.
So you've just talked about the first one.
Just the first one. So the retirement committee is the group that meets twice a year to talk about the plan document, whether any changes need to be recommended. They can't officially change anything without your approval. And so these 3 items have been reviewed and approved by the retirement committee. They need your approval to actually make it final in the plan document.
So the first item, the plan document describes the potential for a retirement advisory committee that could recommend changes to the plan. Following the retirement committee's review and approval, the retirement committee prefers to assume that role for themselves and wants to abolish the need for the RAC. It felt like it was duplicative, and we had two boards who were essentially doing the same thing. The second item for discussion relates to, in 2013, employees were given the option of continuing to contribute 5.5% towards their pension or contributing 6% in exchange for a lower normal retirement age. Those that chose to remain at the 5.5% were grandfathered in and listed in Exhibit 1 as part of the retirement plan. The Retirement Committee wants to clarify that if these employees voluntarily terminate for any reason and then come back or return to county employment, they'll be treated like they were any new hire, and asked that they, at that time, to contribute 6% to the pension plan. This will result in a bifurcated pension plan benefit, one accrued under the benefit of 5.5% rate for termination, and two, a new accrued benefit at the 6% rate.
Question on that. Would they still need another 5 years to become?
They would be
vested?
treated as a new employee at that point.
So they need the 5 years to become vested?
Well, they would still be vested in their original amount.
Yes, but if we're giving them two different benefits, it seems like they should have another 5 years to be vested. Like they have the one, and if they're treating them like a new employee, then treat them like a new employee.
I know that some of it depends on if the employee previously left their money in. So if they would have left and taken their money out, they would need the 5 years. It's my understanding if they would have left the money in, they would still have that 5 years vested and they wouldn't need to, but we can get clarification.
That's what I'm used to seeing. If they've taken their money out, they have to start their 5-year vesting period over, or 10-year, I'm used to a 10-year vesting. If they left their money in, they would already have met a portion of that vesting period because they left their money in there. That's normal for a retirement plan.
So you're talking about people who are not of retirement age then?
Correct. So if they've already retired, they actually wouldn't be eligible to join the retirement plan again.
So a circumstance where they left, I guess, would be an example if they worked here in Washington County doing some job.
For 5 years, and then left and went to Frederick County, and then came back after 3 or 4 years. That's what we're trying to correct. We do have some names that are kind of codified into the retirement plan that we need to remove that codification, so to speak. The third item that's up for discussion is the definition of a covered uniformed employee. It's currently different from the sheriff's personnel and DES personnel. The Retirement Committee has asked that we find language that both leadership teams agree upon. So we've provided a common definition, which is similar to that of Frederick County for uniformed employees. And that's everything that is included for review and approval. This is everything that has been voted on by the Retirement Committee at this time.
And who's on the Retirement Committee?
We have the County Administrator, the Chief Financial Officer, the Director of HR. We have our Retirement Coordinator, and then we have representatives from all of our bargaining group units. There are 4 representatives from AFSCME. There is a representative from the IAFF, and a representative from the Patrol Division, and a representative from the Detention Division. I think I got everybody.
So we don't have like a financial person in the private market. It's all government employees and unions.
Well, we do have financial representative Tom Vicente, who is with Bolton. He normally comes to all of our meetings as well, and he provides any actuarial review or evaluation of any of the proposals that are brought forward by the Retirement Committee.
But he can't vote.
Tom is actually a special. Yeah, he doesn't
He's
vote,
non-voting.
a special
He's
guest.
non-voting.
That's right. That's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
But then I have a question,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second?
Do we have any motion?
You're doing one at a time or all three?
I thought we were going to do each one individually. Is that the plan?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion for the first item?
motion.
Second.
Okay, ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Opposed. I think we should have some private people involved in the Retirement Advisory Committee.
This is 4-1, is that what, okay. The second item, need a motion?
Motion.
Second. Okay, we have,
I want to discuss second again.
okay,
If this would take effect, the clarification would be if they left their money in, they'd still be okay?
Correct. Well, they would be part of the 6%
Right.
pension plan, but their years accrued would still be there.
And it would start now, it wouldn't be retroactive.
Correct.
Correct.
We have a handful that are already fall in this category.
But anybody who's already left and come back, this wouldn't be applied retroactively. This would be just going forward.
I don't know if we should penalize people for coming back. I mean, sort of penalize them. If we need good people, I mean, just me thinking out loud here. You have good people out there that left, thought the grass was greener and figured out it wasn't, and come back and they were good, valuable people. We're sort of penalizing them.
But then what's the other employees say that they weren't paying in during that time, and they come back and start all over again? You know, what would they say? I mean, that's the caveat.
So hard to get good people, that's why I question that, that's all. But anyway, go ahead.
So what is the reduced retirement age then? Normal years is 30, right?
We have employees in multiple different groups. So the ones that were at the 5.5 are eligible at age 60 or 30 years of service. When it switched in 2013, they were eligible at age 60 or 25 years of service. And then in 2019, I believe it went to age 62 and 30 years of service. So the employee may be coming back at the age 60 or 30 or the age 60 and 25 instead of the 62 and 30. So that's the main difference with number two. We're just bringing them back at what's currently there, which is the age 62 or 30 years of service.
The intention was to ask them to pay us another 0.5% in their contribution in exchange for that lower normal retirement rate age. And most people chose that, but not everyone. And by the way, that list is specifically the second to last page on your plan document copy. You can see literally the names of those employees. There's not that many. There's about a page full, maybe a page and a quarter. The rest of our employees are on the 6%.
I guess the harm to just letting them continue with what they did before is that it just creates a bifurcated system. It makes it harder for accounting. Is that the problem?
Well, it's that, and I think it's arguable that the other employees that would argue that, hey, look, we're paying 6% to contribute for this benefit, and you're only paying 5.5%. And after you've actually retired already, then you've already received the benefit that you wanted by paying the 5.5%. Now that you've come back, you should treat the same way that we are, which is paying 6% for that same benefit. It's arguable, it's debatable. Now, they, of course, wouldn't see it that way, but that's how the rest of the population sees it.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. And if they took the money out, then too bad.
Right. Got first and second on that?
no.
Okay, we're working on number two, correct?
We have a first and a second.
We have a first and a second on that one. So
Okay,
now
we ready?
To vote.
Okay. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The third one?
Third one is the definition of a covered uniform employee for DES employees to make it uniform with the sheriff's department and what other counties have.
That definition is on page 8 if you want to see it. Previously, the personnel in the sheriff's office were covered because they were in the personnel office. And the employees that were firefighters had to be in the CBA of Local 1605. And so the IFF in particular came back and said, that doesn't seem to be fair because if we want to be promoted at the end of our career, it disadvantages us from wanting to do that because it would not be covered by the CBA for those jobs that would be management jobs, for example. So they're asking just to be for a definition that would simply describe that is a broader definition for a covered employee, very similar to what the personnel in the sheriff's office had.
And to clarify, any employee that's in management would have started off as a covered employee.
Very, very much
Correct.
likely, very likely, yes. Yes.
Is there any situation where they wouldn't have started off as a covered employee?
Well,
For example, a quality manager could be a report expert, but
Right.
wouldn't necessarily be a firefighter.
but employees aren't required to join a bargaining either, so any employee could opt out of it if they wanted to. They're not required to be a part of the bargaining agreement. The original language included, tied it to the bargaining agreement.
Okay.
When you look at the new language on page 8, it literally says that they need to be certified by one of these major institutions for either police, fire, or paramedics, which will take care of or insulate us from all those sort of folks on the fringe. I think which is the heart of your question.
Okay, where we at?
Motion.
We have a motion?
I'll second.
A second. Ready to vote? All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
And I have a question, Michelle briefly talked, I understand the retirement committee has not voted on it. They may have discussed it, but it would have to go review under Bolton. It's with the beneficiary issue. Would you explain that further? And I would like that maybe to be brought up at the next meeting for the retirement committee to discuss and or approve for referral.
So at the last retirement committee meeting that we had on March the 5th, discussions were had regarding a pop-up option. A pop-up option, let me see if I can find my notes.
I'm just requesting it be on the agenda for the next retirement
describe what a
meeting.
pop-up
That's-
Oh, there you go.
Yes, okay.
So a pop-up provision would allow for the beneficiary, for predeceased, who could make a change to their beneficiary if maybe their beneficiary predeceased them. So let's say I have my spouse on there and he died before me. A pop-up provision would allow me to change my beneficiary to someone else. Or if I got married to my new spouse one time as part of a pop-up provision, we would probably want to make this cost neutral, meaning that the cost of this pop-up will be passed on to the participant in lower annuity payments. But we have Bolton taking a look at that to see what that cost would be for the person. So they would need to elect that pop-up provision at the time that they retire. And it would mean that they would get a lower annuity throughout their retirement period.
That's my request, that get Bolton's recommendation, bring it up for discussion at the next committee. Not saying I'm for or against it, but I'd like it to be brought forth and discussed at the retirement committee.
Yeah, the first time it was brought up was March the 5th, so we will have continued discussions on that at our next
But
couple
cost
of meetings.
neutral sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, next item under tab 34, recommendation to hire GIS administrator.
Chip Rose, Director of Human Resources.
Joe Rathbun, GIS Manager.
Staff is seeking approval to extend an offer to John Baker II for position number 1264. This position is the GIS Administrator. The proposed offer is a grade 14, step 5. We previously came before you and negotiated for a grade 14, step 4. The incumbent has asked us to allow him to keep the first step, which is the fifth step, fit 5, instead of falling down to step 4. The hiring manager has agreed to that. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. And also, when we came before you previously, we were using the fiscal year 2026 salary scale, and we're now using the fiscal year 2027 salary scale, which will literally start next week. That's the only difference in the proposal.
Question, is he being hired from within?
He is. He has about 12 years of experience as a GIS technician and then an analyst. And so it's actually very rare that we find that internally, but yes, he's internal.
That's great. And then what's the standard? Like, I know we're looking at a step 5 instead of a 4. Is there a written policy of what we would normally go with?
So there is a policy that is old, honestly. wage administration policy that typically speaks to when people move through the scales, they would move up a grade and move back a step. If they move down a grade, they would go up a step. That is not as consistent as we would like it to be because we've changed and compressed our scales over the years. And so the intention, when someone were to go up 2 grades, would that they would also go up 2 steps for 10%. It spoke to the spacing between the grades, which isn't there anymore because we compressed all the scales.
We are working on decompressing the scale, and we've been decompressing the scale for the last 3 years or so, maybe 4. We anticipate having it decompressed within the next, 4 to 5 years. I will say that the policy also requires that the employee get a minimum of 8%. So they may not always go up a grade and back 1 step because they are required to have a minimum of 8%. And I wanted to also make sure that we include the new amount, which is not included in the original ARF. So the amount based on the new scales that'll become effective on July the 1st. So the proposed offer is a grade 14, step 5, which is $39.34 per hour, or $81,827.
So is that, what kind of percent is that? You said 8% is the minimum?
8% is the minimum, so he was originally supposed to go up 1 grade. So he was originally a grade 12, step 6. He was going to go up 2 grades and back 2 steps to 70 to a grade 14, step 4. But because he's going to get a step on July the 1st, he's now a 12-7, and he's still going to go up 2 grades and back 2 steps to a 14-5. So the percentage, I can tell you what the percentage is. Oh, he doesn't have the original amount in here.
Well, it sounds like we might still be following policy.
We are following policy.
Because as of July 1st, he's going to a step 7 if he was not to get the promotion. right?
Correct.
That's correct.
So then he still would go back to a step 5. So we're following a policy then.
We're following a policy, and the reason we would be supportive of giving him this extra step is because if we didn't give him the extra step, he wouldn't receive the minimum of the 8% increase.
Right, it's just because of the timing.
Because of the timing. It's just, it's a slightly unusual time period because we're doing this literally the week before.
It's a 9% increase.
Right, oh, 'cause it's right in line. So I'd make a recommendation to go ahead and approve this then. That's my motion.
Is that a motion?
It's a motion, yes.
Second.
Do we have a second?
We have a second. In the absence of Commissioner Barr, would we want to wait till he returns as chair? I can call for the vote, but we could wait.
We could wait.
Yes, wait.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have a proposal of a draft for a policy, for that policy to be rewritten that I'll bring back before you guys very shortly.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Got how that one did, huh? Yay.
Call for the vote, John.
Call for a vote, have first and second. There was an attempt to overthrow you while you were gone.
Is that right? Well, go right ahead.
Neil Parrott won the chair.
Yeah, we denied him. That's a good one.
Okay, we ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item under tab 35, Washington County Planning Commission reappointment.
Dawn Marcus, County Clerk. Commissioners, on behalf of the Washington County Planning Commission, I am requesting a motion to reappoint Teresa Shank to serve a first full 5-year term from July 1st of 2026 through June 30th of 2031. This is a paid board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Next item under tab 36, Washington County Board of Zoning Appeals reappointment.
Dawn Marcus, County Clerk. Commissioners, on behalf of the Washington County Board of Zoning and Appeals, I am requesting a motion to reappoint Karen Fetterman Henry to serve a second three-year term from July 1st of 2026 through June 30th of 2029. This is a paid board.
Discussion?
I don't know her, so. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Next item, last item in open session, Washington County Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board reappointments.
Dawn Marcus, County Clerk. Commissioners, on behalf of the Washington County Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board, I'm requesting a motion to reappoint Jason Hose to serve a second five-year term from May 1st of 2026 through April 30th of 2031, and to reappoint David Roth to serve a third five-year term from May 1st of 2026 through April 30th of 2031. The board also requests a waiver of the two-term limit as outlined in the Boards and Commissions County Policy PR 22 due to a lack of qualified candidates. This is not a paid board.
And to put some clarification on that, I was on that board for 4 years, and I think Derek went on it. But that, these guys on that board, that thing you heard Chris Boggs say today, they don't meet a whole lot, 4 or 5 times a year maybe, but they spend 3 or 4 hours at some meetings trying to come up with the formulas they use to score these farms. And every one of these people, when I was on there anyway, knew every farm in the county inside and out. So it's really hard to get somebody to fill that. So I'd be a motion to approve that third-year term on that, because I know how hard it is to get somebody to serve on that board.
Second.
Motion and second. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. 5-0.
Point.
Yep.
Randy, is that a motion to approve both reappointments?
Yes, approve
Thank you.
both, yes.
Everybody okay with that? Okay, looking for a motion to go into closed session for the reasons stated.
Motion to close session.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's take a 10-minute recess.
All fair.